simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is. No.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert. Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert. Life.
Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. Con artist. Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. Con artist. Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. Con artist. Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. Flimflam, noun a trick or deception, especially a swindle or confidence game involving skillful persuasion or clever manipulation of the victim. A piece of nonsense, twaddle, bosh. Flimflam, noun a trick or deception, especially a swindle or confidence game involving skillful persuasion or clever manipulation of the victim.
No. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is. No.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert. Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.
Oh my goodness, I'm small. Let me make me big. Happens every time, guys. Hi, good afternoon. Let me get rid of this music. Hi, everybody. Hi, just wanted to make sure I got the disclaimers out and just got everybody here joining us this afternoon. Happy pre-Friday. Happy Friday Eve. Happy whatever you're doing this afternoon. It is Thursday and it is January the 8th, 2026. And we haven't seen Tim all day long. And Tim, as we know, has gone out and purchased himself a dirt bike. Now, I think for most people, you know, a 67-year-old purchasing a dirt bike does not seem like a wise or smart plan. Tim is not somebody who's in the greatest of health either. It's not like he's a young 67. Tim is starting to look a little bit like he's young at heart. But Tim, I think, is masking a lot of his problems with his excessive shopping. And we're actually going to go in and take a look at a little bit of something that is called compulsive buying shopping disorder. And I think a lot of us know that we see Tim, Sarasota Tim, and this could be for a lot of people. Tim is just somebody who is monetizing his kind of his trauma a little bit on the internet. He has found a way to make very easy money, because when you get, I always try to let people know this, when you get good at YouTube, I promise you, you will make very good money. And so I know that if somebody has obviously a compulsive buying habit, and we see this kind of cycle with Tim throughout the time of watching him, we have seen him buy and sell so many different recreation and motor vehicles. It is beyond what most of us would do. Now, he could be saying the whole entire time, well, that he's always making money. But when you come out and you're not honest about how much you spent on your motorbike, and there's been a lot of people who've been able to provide information about the actual costs. In fact, I'll have to airdrop one of my screenshots to my phone, because one of the members of our community did a really good job explaining that the out the door cost, once Tim put on everything on that motorbike, could be up to $7,000. I think that for many of us is a significant amount of money to spend on an item. And when you see somebody who is obviously has never been house rich, if you may, and is buying items that really don't make any sense, and then he bores of them very quickly, there's something a little bit more pathologically happening actually with Tim. And he hasn't put out, and if we take a look here, okay, he had a massive unboxing of some items from Amazon. Okay, his whole channel, for saying he's a minimalist, it literally documents his absolutely compulsive buying. Now, the one thing is that Tim doesn't hoard everything, because I think Tim is under the false impression that he is always making money when he sells these items. There's not an item that is not available to be sold on Tim's Facebook Marketplace page, or to be returned, to a retail. He is masking, in my opinion. And obviously I did put out, my fair use, and this is my opinion. Many of you know I am a registered nurse. I obviously have been studying in my master's. God, I hope I finish it this year. That's my goal. I got 2 2026 goals. Okay, I don't talk about resolutions, but I do have goals, and I'm just going to throw these in real fast. One is obviously, well, I actually have 3. One is to keep building this awesome community, because I really feel like we're getting some really good traction. I think we can show other people, and I think we can use Tim as a teaching tool. And that's kind of how I think of it, as somebody who's training as a nurse educator, somebody who does have a teaching degree, and somebody who obviously has a degree as a registered nurse, as a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and obviously, like I said, working on my master's. And so it's despite Tim wanting to say that education is worth nothing, in this respect, I think it's very interesting to watch somebody document on the internet how their low self-esteem, how their guilt, their shame, all of the things that involves their life is part of this compulsive buying shopping disorder. And they're actually looking to bring this as an actual diagnostic in the DSM-5. And they've started to do some initial Delphi research and studies. And I'm going to show you an article that's within actually a research article of a study today that is from 2021 about actually trying to introduce this CBSD into the DSM-5 with text revision. And it's fascinating. Yeah. And I hope you're all having a good time in the chat. He pissed you off? Why did he piss you off? You can still get that $30 Christmas tree. Somebody said he's still selling it for $35. You've only known women Well, I don't think, Rita, that men are somebody who are not also able to have feelings of depression. And so that's why we're going to take a look at this controlled study, or this study that they put out. I shouldn't say controlled. It was a study. We'll take a look. Hey, come on in. We're going to look at some interesting papers and stuff. You know, it's a whole channel now. Yeah. I mean, he says he's a minimalist. Financing teeth, motorcycles. The more you were snubbed while poor, the more you just enjoy displaying your wealth. Yeah, but Tim doesn't really have wealth, does he? Well, he did kind of, but some of it's from the American taxpayer. Priorities. Should have fixed his teeth. Yeah, Tim doesn't have priorities because Tim's got other issues. Mary Kay says, you're absolutely correct, Ray. It's a documented disorder, just like bulimia. Oh, yeah. I'm going to bring up I'm going to show you the paper that has this about this Delphi expert consensus study. You know, because I like to read my studies and papers. And this is within the last 5 years, and it's peer reviewed. And it has all the hallmarks of being a good article as far as evidence-based practice is concerned. It's got some really fascinating information. And so, yes, that's been documented for hundreds of years, this type of shopping. And Tim, look what we got here. Come on, look what we got. We have cold steel knife, anytime, anywhere. Somebody reported this because they felt this was threatening. Bought a knife, bought a dirt bike, probably $7,000 out the door. Okay. He's going to buy he talked about the motorcycle, all the gear that has to go with it. He had some massive, we'll take a look at some of this stuff, massive Amazon unboxing. He talks about starting a new life or whatever, this is money, it's starting a new life, like the cycle of your depressive disorder, Tim, and your feelings of low self-esteem and then your worthlessness. Because before you had the EIDL and the PPP and the monies from the U.S. taxpayer, you were carrying debt, and probably from this habit. And we are the ones who have helped you pay this off and YouTube has just fueled more money for him to just go through the cycle. He has ditched Jesus. I don't care. Jesus is not telling you to buy a dirt bike, Tim. Jesus is not a materialistic person. Jesus was about compassion and caring. You do none of those things, sir. So stop trying to say that Jesus is telling you to do this stuff. Okay. That's just Christian cosplay, Tim. That's Christian cosplay. He had a huge Amazon unboxing. Ditch drama for desert ride, solo motor life. We're going to take a quick peek at this video. We're going to stick into the Amazon unboxing just to see the amount of shite in there. And then obviously he has too all these products and collabs and companies that will reach out to you when you have a YouTube channel. And then I think he gets kind of a high when he sells stuff because he gets more money that allow him to do more shopping. And then he'll tell everyone he got plenty of money. Oh, he is an unhappy individual. 67 so my stealth camping setup, and this one I think we just took a look. Shows all the stuff that he has acquired. He has just no self-worth. But we will look at some of the reasons why people display its impulse control problem disorder. That's what this is. Tim has problems controlling his impulses. He sits there and we'll take a look, and it explains perfectly Tim's cycle of behaviors. Okay, we'll take a look at the video first, and then we'll talk about that. Okay, let's get into this one where he's trying to get, he's broken every heart of every woman in America. We are going to go back a wee bit. Hold on. All right.
30 minutes.
Hold on, Tim. I got to speed you up, mate. And then we're probably not going to look at all this. You know me. I'm going to skip around a wee bit. But he's like, obviously, Tammy's, and remember, this is a man who's been married 3 times. Okay. Three times. And probably because, this is exhausting for other people to watch, probably money just getting, and always, blasted and spent on items that Tim is probably trying to say at the end of the day. Guess what? You can make sure that we're gonna get money back on this. This is a steal. I got this so cheap. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna make money on the sale. I'm sure we could sit and look at all the items throughout the year that Tim has acquired just on this YouTube video, the different trucks, the cars. He traded in the F-150 that was new for a 250. Do not tell me he did not lose money on that truck transition. He makes out like because he's not paying for a condo that he's making all this money. I mean, can you imagine the mental gymnastics that this man goes through to convince everybody that he is making solid financial decisions? And he is trying to convince people about taking Social Security. It's just a grift. God, and it just pays. He already ordered a step stool from Amazon. I already asked, how's he going to get that bike up and down? This is not somebody who's fit. The bike is going to go. The Goldwing is going to go. Why are you making videos trying to show to retirees and soon to be retirees all of these different things about how awesome you're living your life, Tim? You are just a compulsive buyer shopper, and you've got impulse control issues, which you've already seen when he gets angry. Anyway, if you do like this type of content, make sure that Tammy is an enabler. Oh, absolutely. She is an enabler because she probably like to go shopping too. She's probably a shopper as well. And make sure that you do I'm going to hide you for a second there, darling. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys, coming in. I appreciate it, especially if you want to join in the chat and even have a chance to chat with all these wonderful parts of the community, because they're going to be sharing stories. And so I would suggest that you do that. And at some point, I might actually think of a poll to do. I usually think of something at the end of the day. I don't know how to get rid of this banner. Come on, banner, go away. Why can't I get rid of you? You need to go. All right, let me get rid of this banner. Oh, there we go. That's it. I'm going to hide him. Oh, no, I just want you gone. There we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm so pro. Anyway. All right. And if you want to help my puppies out, you can always send me Buy Me a Coffee instead of Sarasota Tim. And you guys have been super generous on Buy Me a Coffees. And I am so grateful, because I promise you, once I've paid for all my dog treats and their medications, because we know I rescue dogs that have been long-term in shelter. My goal, back to the goals for 2026. 1, keep calling this guy out. 2, grow the YouTube channel, I guess. 3, I need to finish grad school this year. And I will. And then 4, my dream is to sell the condo and get a house. I looked at a house last year. I didn't get it. I'm still in the condo. The reason being is that I would like to rescue more dogs. That's pretty much it. So I got to find a house in free America in order to have a yard and be able to have a place where I can rescue more dogs. And you being part of this community helps me with that. So that's why I really appreciate it. So like, comment, surprise. That's just kind of what I do on the side as part of my own personal goals. So they always say that like animals tie you down and make you unhappy and you have a better life without your dogs and stuff. I don't agree with that. Dog people are dog people, and that's who we are, And then there's other people. All right, Tim. Oh, you still can't believe Tim outright lied about buying that Christmas tree he was selling on Marketplace when it was a gift from a subscriber. He's such a liar. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. He is a liar. Oh, thank you for the super sticker, DJ Shelley. I appreciate that. Let me get over to Nightbot so I can actually see. Because for some reason, StreamYard doesn't. And actually, we've got, I got StreamYard because you guys are so nice into this channel. And I always say, keep it up. Thank you. Thank you, DJ Shelly Shell. I will keep it up. And Saturday, just to give you a heads up, I will be doing Foodie Beauty and her blood pressure, because I found out some really interesting things about insulin and blood pressure from a doctor. And so I wanted to kind of get over to that and her nonsense. I keep wanting to do back because I don't want to just do Tim. I want to call out all sorts of scammers on the internet. But thank you for that. Yeah, cheers, Shelly. Yeah, we appreciate that. Okay, Tim, you're telling us that you're ditching the ladies. Ladies cry. Time to cry. Time to cry. Tim doesn't want the lady love. All right.
I was sneezing over and over and over. I thought I'd keep going with the video, but I could not stop sneezing. I think that I just took a shower and I use that Irish Spring liquid soap. Guys, you got to get it. Oh, man. You smell good. And I don't know if I'm allergic to it or whatever, or the difference in I had the heater on and I came out. I don't know. But I just got through sneezing like crazy. But I love that Irish Spring liquid soap. Tonight, we're not going to talk about motorcycles. Oh, you're going to have plenty of motorcycle videos coming all year as I travel this continent around with both motorcycles, different times, with the crasher. I got so much going on in here, so much I want to do, and so little time to do it. And that's what tonight's video is about. Let me get some cream here. This is going to be a little hard-hitting, hard-punching, just shoot from the hip. I ain't got no script. I didn't make no notes. I just kind of have an idea. I got an idea. When I used to read horoscopes, I'm talking years ago for fun. I'm a Capricorn, and something about your rising sign you can look up to, and that's what you act like more than your sun sign when you mature. And if you go buy into any of that, a lot of it does seem to be kind of general. Like if you meet a Taurus, they're kind of hard-headed, and that's what I am. My rising sign is Taurus, kind of hard-headed. And I'm also Capricorn. They call that somebody that's ambitious and neat, freak, and clean, and anal, and think things through, successful. Elvis was a Capricorn. His birthday, was January the 8th. I don't work on January the 8th. But one of the things that I never did forget when I used to read the zodiac stuff was I'm supposed to be and get my dessert.
See, he's so small. I always know that people are really very well-read and intellectually curious when they base their life on horoscopes, because there's a lot of science involved in horoscopes.
At the end of my life. And I'll be dang if it doesn't seem like that's coming to fruition. But I am living. Hey, I'm living the life I like.
I know.
It may not be the life.
I'm going to say they'll mention all sorts of characteristics. It's like somebody who is a what's that? Those people that are that lady Cynthia Brown, and there's a bunch of them, the clairvoyants or whatever. They just say things that we can all relate to. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's fun, pop garbage. It's garbage. I'm sorry to burst everybody's bubble. Every part of the solar system is shifted. So that wouldn't be accurate, half of it by now. And it's fun. It's fun to say you're born this month and you're this, that, and the other. But it's not true. I'm sorry. There's no
I've talked to some people lately. I don't ask them. They just tell me. I had somebody today tell me, you know what, Tim? Let me tell you something. If I wasn't married, I'd be doing
the con artist.
I'd be crushing it just like you're doing.
More con artist.
That little camper you got, I'd be towing that thing all over. I'd be crushing it. And I won't give all the details, but basically would be doing my life.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Do your life, Tim. Part of doing your life, Tim, is having impulse control disorders. Okay. So we get to watch you make the worst decisions of your money. And then you try to repackage this as content on the internet. And then you try to convince some gullible people that this is really great advice. And it isn't. If I get extra money from this channel, it's going into an investment account. That's it. I'm not buying a bunch of BS. There's no fancy bag that I care about. I much rather think that I'm going to pay for stuff in the future because I don't know what's going to go on. That's another reason why I need to upgrade home. Because that's the only way, in some ways, that they say for seniors. There's a bunch of AI slop on YouTube. You need to actually talk to actual investors. And, nobody is the same. I've been watching a little bit more about Social Security. And there's a reason why I rather listen to people who really have expertise in these topics, especially this myth about 62, 67. That is a personal decision that you have to make. It's not from some guy who has impulse control issues, who is trying to make a buck off of a platform.
I like it, but apparently it appears to be something that.
Oh, Jack is
and ladies can feel this way too. You might be feeling like, hey, if I was in this, and you can love that person you're with. You can dream though, like if you weren't, if you didn't love them, you'd be doing something different. I almost stepped up from the sneezing attack. I mean, I went off on it. Oh, let's drink this coffee. So anyway, when I started thinking about that, when they were saying that,
he's another one of these like low effort guys. Why are we supporting these low effort guys? This is a guy who just minimal effort, just gift of the gab. Who wants to listen to this guy? Any person who wants to listen to this guy? Because he didn't have a secret to Social Security at 62, other than saying you're leaving free money on the table. And I've been watching more videos about how there's a trap. Like, it's a trap about saying that you can get out at 62 and take that income and still like work and stuff and get that $26,000 of whatever like space. It's not as easy of a solution to getting that money early. That you probably, at the end of the day, Tim probably had to give back a bunch of his Social Security because of making a video about Social Security. But he will never honestly admit to that on his channel. And that's what I find really disingenuous. And he just buys shite. That's what we're talking about today, though. So let's stick to the topic.
That's it. Made this morning or middle of the day. Wasn't recent. I didn't just make it. And folks, that's the best cup of coffee I've drank in my life. And that is that McAfee, baby. I'm sorry. I'll get that in a minute. So, damn, that is good. Just what I ordered. So, I'm going to talk about my life. I make a joke sometimes when people, they talk a lot. I'll say something like, one of my sayings. I've had a very interesting life. I hear about it back in 1958. So, I just got a guzzle of coffee. It's so darn good. Because I'm trying to get hopped up. In my life, I've been single most of my life. I was married early.
Here we go, guys. It's new year, new audience, new BSery from Tim. All right, Tim. Try to dress this turd up, okay, with a ribbon. Come out with this turd that was your life, Tim, and dress it up, okay? Dress up this turd for me, please. That's a nursing term. Turd is a nursing medical term.
Young, 16 years old. You've heard the story. Had a kid, one from each of them. They're all almost older than me now. And we moved when the rent came due and all that stuff. Sold cars, door-to-door salesman. I did other door-to-door stuff before I did my own business for 33 years. And
I would set both of my pit bulls on if he showed up at my door. Oh, ladies, a lot of you have probably heard this, but if you only watch Sarasota Tim through reaction channels, one, God bless you. And because I know some of you also watch because you pick up some of his little Easter eggs in there, his little hidden gems. And so that's always appreciated because a lot of people alert me to his BSery. It's funny he's not out there today. I'm sure we'll get a slew of videos later, but he's probably maybe getting depressed, because he's got some, we've got like total video evidence of all of his like issues. As I said, for me, as a medical perspective, it's fascinating to watch him. He's going to hurt himself.
I've never been a yes man. This is probably why I'm not in a relationship or married, because a lot of men or even ladies, they bite their tongue. They don't say anything. They just go with the flow. They don't want to make any waves. And I just wonder, really, how happy are they?
Yeah, I look like and sound like somebody who like bit my tongue. No, Tim. I just think, and it was in your comment section. If you watched my latest video, I think I used it in one of the comments that I showed, that they recommended that, Tim just go find himself a nurse with a purse, which basically means finding a younger lady, maybe in her 40s or, 50s, who's still working, who maybe is single and has wanted to be married and hasn't had a lot of luck. And, now gets this old dude because he's looking for somebody who's not only providing an income, but is young enough to take care of his sorry ass as he gets older. Pardon my French. And I think women are wising up to the fact that we don't want to expend our energy that way. And Tim doesn't come with anything to the table. And it's exhausting. I think once you reach a certain age, you really are going to need to meet somebody that you are probably known for some amount of time, or just have so much in common and just get on so great. And probably getting married is going to have to be a really big decision, because tying people's finances as you get older. And Tim is right in a lot of these things about people in baggage. But Tim, you come with like a whole entire like O'Hare Chicago airport carousel's worth of goddamn baggage.
Or how?
Pardon
I know you
French and putting the Lord's name in vain.
Relationship that you value, that you want it to last till death do you part. But
I shouldn't use the Lord's name like that, but it's true, because he's a Christian cosplayer too. And then he tried to talk about the fact that he's such a good Christian. He's the only good Christian, And I showed the fact that I actually am baptized. Baptized, but he'll tell it in this video. So let Tim keep talking and me shush.
I don't know. Maybe it's because of my stepfather, my real father, or whatever it was. But my makeup, my personality, I do not sit over in the corner. I'll do the telling around here of what's going on. When I was in a relationship, believe it or not, I treated them and esteemed them very highly, because I always worked. They didn't work. I always supported them. They never paid anything. And that's just the way I roll. I'm old school. They did their thing. I went out and earned. And I was the man and they were the woman. So fast forwarding to 67 years old, I didn't mean to make that give you any kind of a clue what the video, what this video.
And I think that's a very important point for us to try to remember. Where's my paper, Tim? I got to write your BS down. Hold on. Oh, that's on my vet's bill. So if anybody wants to know how much I spend on my poor dog and how much is contributed, and let you all know. Hold on. Let me see if I can see this. Oh, let me get it. StreamYard. Let me see what I can see. All right. It was $500. Thank you guys. For Roscoe's teeth and meds, it was $556.60. So I'm partially hiding the vet's name. But thank you guys, because that's how much my dogs, and poor Roscoe's got really, he had some type of trauma on the right side of his body. So that's why he's got like his elbow joint on his right front leg is shattered and is like healed in some strange way. Like his right upper shoulder has had some sort of dislocation, but it's getting stronger. We make sure he has joint supplements. And then the whole right side of his mouth, like all the jaw, something happened. So all of his teeth are like broken in half and like impacted into his jaw. And so I have no idea what happened to him. And so I appreciate you guys, and for like all the likes, comments, subscribes, coffee monies. That's the buy me a coffees, because it does help. I do work as a registered nurse. Obviously, I work hard. I work hard on this YouTube channel, but I just want to let you guys know what I do with my money. It's not shopping like Tim does. I promise you. Wear the same clothes all the time on this channel. I just wanted to let you guys know. Thank you. I just wanted to show you my receipts. He lost most of his support, you heard. I'm surprised he still gets as many video views. But he says but it's important to hear here that he said his wives never worked. That's my big point. Because a lot of people will say that the reason why he has $1,800 a month in Social Security. And we're going to go back and do a Social Security. I'm trying to study more so that I can try to figure out kind of what is he really getting for Social Security. I think Darling has also, I know you have also investigated this. I think we're getting more information. We definitely know it's not from if they were never working, and I saw the third wife did not have an employment that would have meant that she would have received $3,600 of Social Security at early retirement. She did not have that high. Tim was not married to some type of, high level executive who was making that type of bank. This is a lady who was like working as a waitress or a retail person. I saw like what her job history was. I have it somewhere because I looked at his the last spouse and what she does. I think her name is Denise, I want to say. And I looked at, or Michelle. It's either Denise or Michelle. It's one of the two. But and I looked at their actual history of work. And now they like work for a nonprofit. So this was not somebody, they weren't married for 10 years for one. And secondly, they did not make a lot of money. And thirdly, Tim is now saying that they stayed and what. So that would have taken out years of work. Tim would not have been the type of person. I mean, maybe, but maybe a trust fund baby, not a smart woman with a good job. He would have had to been much better looking, much taller with a much better set of teeth to have done that. But so this whole thing, and then we're talking about like he didn't want to say everything about his Social Security. And this is why I don't like his channel. He talks about Social Security secrets. And when you're going to be a personal vlogger and talk about your stuff, you are going to have to be much more honest about stuff. And you're not, Tim. And that's not cool on YouTube.
Videos about, but really,
that's my point.
Here I find myself single and solo another year, and for multiple years, with recently not being like completely single, where I was collaborating, where I was, working life with someone. And when I look at it, how my life was before I got involved with that, and how my life is now again, pretty much on my own again.
Well,
I'm the happiest. I am the best. I am with me. I don't have to argue with anybody.
And that would be interesting if he's out here on a dirt bike. And Darling did a great video. If you haven't checked out Darling's channel, and if one of my mods, Catherine, if you want to drop Darling's link, I know everyone knows Darling, but Darling did a great video about Tim purchasing a dirt bike back in 2022, and the fact that now he has another one of these purchases. He rode that thing like once and then it was sold. This dirt bike is going to go to the elephant graveyard, the motor vehicle graveyard, the same way as every other thing. And you cannot, he keeps trying to convince people, and I'm sure this is what he did to all those wives. Babe, I'm going to make money off of it. While he's losing thousands of dollars along the way. And no paid for roof over their head. He says it here in this video. We left town when the rent was due. How, Tim? You're talking about going solo. What woman is you? The type of woman, unfortunately, who would be attracted to you would be the same type of grifting con artist that you are. That's it. Or doesn't give, or expecting to be treated more like a princess, like probably Tammy. Tammy wants to be cared for. And after she came into that monetary windfall, Tim, you had to be her yes bitch. And you didn't want to be that.
There's no decisions to make. I don't have to ask anybody
In my
anything.
opinion.
I don't have to tell somebody when I'm going to be back. I don't have to tell somebody when I'm going to leave. I don't have to do anything
But
what Tim wants to
chat here, guys.
And I don't have this reason that I need to sit in the corner or be a yes man or just go with the flow so that I got somebody that can run me to the doctors or somebody that I can, just share conversation with or, share meals with and life with and all that. I thought I did several times, apparently.
Share meals? You mean like sharing like half a plate? Shoot, if I went to dinner with you and you told me you wanted to share my main course, I would slap your hand off my plate faster than you could say I'm almost like 5 foot. I'm 5'9". And no one gonna mess with my food. That was the thing that used to irritate me the most, because I could never eat what my partners were eating because it usually had some like dead animal on there. unless it was fish. And they usually didn't do that. And I didn't eat the other stuff. So I didn't want to touch anything on their plate. But they would want to touch stuff on my plate. Get your hands away. Get your own. Don't you dare touch my plate. Rude. I'm sorry. I don't play like that. Unless it's like an appetizer, I'm not sharing the main course. That's bad manners. Okay? I don't care if you can't eat that much. That doesn't happen. Okay? One, I'm not paying tab. And two, guys I dated were dropping $200-$300 on a meal. Okay, Tim? I would never have dated you, you cheap SOB.
To make them really not pan out very well. And a few of them went multiple years, decade. It wasn't like, we did it 6 months or a year or two. No, I've been in a relationship for multiple years, a decade.
Oh, yeah.
3 times. And I'm only 67.
Oh, Tim had to edit something out. All right, I can't believe this is 1.5. He's still talking slow as molasses.
So I said all that not to disparage the 3 wives or this last deal. None of it. I love them all. I esteem them all. They brought me children and happiness and lots of things in the midst of it. But
yeah, I thank you, Passive. Join me because we are both just having fun and not in our prison jobs. So you guys liking, comment, subscribing. There's 124 of you at the moment. Make sure you're all liking. Let everyone know we're just hanging out. And we're already at 78 votes. Make sure you hit that poll when you come in. Let's get that poll to over 100 votes. When will Tim sell the dirt bike? 57% say in the next 3 months. 29% say in 3 to 6 months. 13% say in over 6 months. And 1% say never. He is crushing it. That must be Tim. Or probably Styler6969, who is banned from my chat because that Stuart Fork in the Road or however that weird, creepy dude is. I recommend don't go to that person's channel. Okay. He is somebody who's really offensive. This man leaves nasty comments in female creators chats and stuff. Okay, he is a very sad, lonely man whose YouTube channel is a failing YouTube channel, and he is just a really sad person. So I would recommend not even giving that guy the time of day. That's just my thoughts and opinions.
it didn't work out.
Hi,
And I found
Stuart.
in my life, this is part of the video. We're going to begin the video that works. And that I think that any
Hi,
guy out there
Stuart.
that is solo right now, and you're in your 60s, that if you want to live this kind of life and you want to find true happiness, forget finding love.
Oh.
Forget it. I feel today, if I met a lady, she's got
Stewie is Styler6969 also. So Passive, if Styler6969 comes into your chat or comments at all, that's Stuart. Just give heads up. Okay. Not a friend of the community, not a friend of the reaction channels in this place. Okay. And as we know, take it away, Zach.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.
Yeah, that's right. Just remember that, Stu.
husbands, ex-children's,
Creepy.
ex this, baggage there, baggage that. Too many stories. When we were 18, 20, and 22, we meet somebody, you go to the bars, you go dancing, you're somewhere, you're at the beach, and you're not shy. You got your best look going because you're in your prime. They're in their prime. Like, hey, you, me, what do you think? Huh? Get together. And they had no history. They were.
Oh, yeah. Barfly drama going on. Tim down at the bars, just meeting all his life partners. Yeah, that's usually the best place, Tim. And then he'll talk about what now, ladies, that, he's trying to get to church. Oh, God. Oh. Tim, do you understand? Women don't want to date you. Okay. And if they are wanting to date you, I'd be cautious. They might think you're actually coming in with money. But as soon as they see you trying to skip out and treating wait staff and servers and everything else and any, buddy who's in the service industry like garbage, they're most decent people would be out the door, because that is a very good indicator of a really bad character, in my opinion.
You know, had a boyfriend, you had a girlfriend. And then later in life, you meet somebody else. Yeah, I'm divorced. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah. How long been divorced? Oh, 6 months. You know, and then later in life, you go, oh, I've married 3 times. Yeah, I've been divorced 3 times. And I kissed all of them. I lived all over the country. I had different homes. We got different this and different that. And I get this. And I draw on him and he draws on me. And I remarried him and he remarried me. And I mean, I've heard it all. These people get to be up in the years and they're like, come on, it ain't working. Put the milk in the trash. It ain't going to get fresh.
Well, that's you, Tim. And thank goodness you're having this realization, because you were trying to head to marriage number 4 with Tammy.
You ain't cut out for it.
In my opinion.
But if you live a life where you have a relationship with God, because let me tell you something. If you value that, which I do in my life and have for the last, where I took my Christianity, where I speak to him, pray to him, read and study on him, watch things on the internet, things that I never did do when I was with somebody. Why? Well, that's not really true. Let me say, if they're not into it too, it's a distraction. We're just going to do something else. You can talk about it, you can think about it, but when you're by yourself and you live alone, there's nothing stopping you. If I decide tomorrow morning when I wake up not to make a video, not to do anything, but I want to sit here and think on God or start watching Charles Stanley, or I'm in the mood.
Think on God. So funny, Tim, because we're talking about the fact that you probably stole the plate when it was passed to you. He's definitely got one of these hands when the communion tray was going around. This man has never done anything unless it's benefited him in some way. He said that he talks about in this one that one of his wives and he did attend a lot of church, but Tim probably in the back of his mind was thinking he could sell every one of these people coupons, Yeah, Stewie comes off as creepy. Oh, he is an absolute creepy. That's why Styler6969 not in the chat today, because, he's just a creepy dude and I want us to have fun. We don't have to have always the trolls. That's why we have moderators. I like engagement and stuff because it makes me money, but I rather them know that they're not welcome.
I need to speak to him. There's something going on in my life. Something happened. Something did happen. Sometimes those are motivators.
No, don't watch us
closer to God. And you wake up with somebody,
in my opinion,
and you can't do what you wanted to do. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't pray. You can't watch something. They're not into it. You don't want to what do they think about it? And a lot of people hate it. A lot of people can't take it. When I talk about God on this channel, I'll guarantee you that's why there's some trolls out there. I'll guarantee you. They absolutely can't stand Christianity. They hate it. And that's all part of the end times. But let me get back.
Really? We hate Christianity? No, Tim, we actually understand what Christianity is, and we understand that you are not practicing it. That's the difference, Tim. The difference is that when most of us are here, we have struggles with our faith often. Many of us do. We do not believe the role of Jesus or God is to make us prosper in our lives. Okay. That's not really part of Christian teaching. We're supposed to care about our neighbors. We're supposed to show compassion and caring. Those are things that are Christian values. Tim, you do not demonstrate any of those values. Me sitting here and criticizing you does not make me a bad Christian. Okay? Did use the Lord's name in vain? Because sometimes, Tim, you push me that far. Do I have always the best behaviors? No. Do I struggle with my faith a lot? Yes. Absolutely. That's part of being a good Christian. Do I try to show acts of charity? Absolutely. And many of which I would never speak about on this channel. You haven't done a buy it, pay it forward in months at a McDonald's, Tim, recently, because I'm guessing that buy me a coffee money is drying up a little bit. And that Christmas jingle jangle had to go to buy all these accessories for your motorbike. So not all of those. And I know that you also purchase these items too in the hopes that probably brands will reach out and offer you stuff, which they do. So there's just all things. But to say that everybody here who makes commentary around you, Tim, the reason why we call you out is because you are the least Christian person here. You are a Christian cosplayer.
On the rails. Let me get back on the rails. There was one of my marriages
my thoughts.
that and really only one that was following the Christian. I mean, we were church, tithing, praying, believing, everything. I mean, we were, and that's fine. I always thought, well, people say, well, Tim, why don't you go to church? You can be a nice girl in church and, should be a Christian and all that stuff.
Yeah. Is that Stuart? Yeah. Who cares? Oh, he's always trying to report my channel too. So he thinks he's like Timmy's police. He thinks he's the police officer of the reaction channels. I would recommend, don't give him a view, guys. Just ignore him, Thanks.
And then, but the problem with me is when I go to church, I get there at the time the guy's going to start talking. I sit down in the pew. I do the songs with him. I hear the message. And then when it's over, I leave. I don't know anybody. I'm not there to be like a pickup. Hey, you look good in that Sunday go to meeting.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not as, I'm a little more bashful that way, believe it or not, about approaching someone. I'm always thinking, like, first of all, if she's hot, she got to be involved with somebody. Why would she be single? And other ones I'm not interested in. So I don't know. It just hasn't ever, come to fruition. And the ones that I was involved with were really, I won't go into it, but the way they actually started was fluke. So now I'm like I was before I got in my last one. And before I got in my last one, I went a long time solo, single. And I studied the word. I read my Bible. I was going to church for a while. I played golf. I didn't have.
Do you really think that, what was somebody's stolen golf clubs? That's real Christian of you, Tim.
I have a YouTube channel. I played golf. I was selling my coupons, and I had some friends that I knew on the golf course. I had 10 years off and on drinking. Part of the time I was a complete sobriety.
Oh, second strike. This guy has no idea then. What a loser. He obviously really wants to make sure that his channel dies the way it was started. Just men are just like, these are all, it's because what we get is these like low subpar white guys. I'm white. I can talk about it. Who have just like, failed in life. They failed downwards constantly, and they are, they don't want to see a female creator like do better than they are or have better reactions or funnier content or even call out a low level loser like Tim, especially a subpar, taker of government money like Tim committing wire fraud probably. And so, they always strike it. I mean, they strike the most at us, but I beat them every time because I'm smarter than you. Tim. I am very good with paperwork, but it's crazy. It's a tough road being a female commentator and reaction channel. So I appreciate all of you who watch me, because these guys don't like it when I call men out. But I'm way more successful than you all. So you guys should be embarrassed. Tim and Stewie should be embarrassed. Both of these guys live in campers. I have a condo at the beach. Losers.
And then I fell off the wagon a couple times in my life and drank again for a long period. And then got on the wagon again.
Sorry. I had to say that.
Got into a relationship.
I have to say it.
There probably was happiness. And
it's all because of you guys. And I always want to highlight that. The only reason why this channel does well is because of you guys. It's, because you guys have fun watching me watch these people. But it's amazing. And Miss Vicky is right. How we get really picked on as female creators in this community. So you got to have some cojones.
But each one, as you get older, really seem more superficial than when the beginning ones. They were truly love and infatuation and happiness and just wanted to be together all the time and build your life and family and have children. And,
like a relationship.
But
sounds like
after you get divorced and you get into the next one, and so, you get another one. And then,
oh my gosh. Timmy just making, we know he wasn't making a small decision out the get-go because his first one was at 16. You cannot make a reasonable decision about marriage at such a young age. I should know. I got married at 24. Okay. The difference between Tim and I is after that, I said to myself, and I was married for probably much longer than Tim because I was married for over 7 years. And I said to myself, this is not a situation that I found to be beneficial to me and the things that I enjoy doing. And I had other relationships, but they never led to marriage. And I don't think that at a certain point, it's just like, unless you're the union, it's about children. And if you find that you are somebody who is probably quite free-spirited and the other people that you are interacting with are probably quite free-spirited, or they have very different goals in life, and potentially the women that Tim was meeting, I mean, I'm sure Tim is, he's a salesperson. I'm sure he sold them a lie. God, I would have avoided him like the plague.
It just doesn't. You're not really committed, is what it is. I'm speaking for myself, okay? And they weren't either.
Yeah, they're all.
There was no commitment. There was never. Not when I look at it in hindsight. So the best way to live for you gals and you guys, you gals out there might be listening.
Yeah, I don't care for Kentucky Todd either. He's another one of those dudes who. I know. I just don't care for him. He's another one who tries to ride me in my comment section. Another man who doesn't like women who make comment sections. Oh, and had the audacity to say I shouldn't talk about healthcare, even though I have been a registered nurse and working in the healthcare industry and in the hospital level and in my master's degree for like 15 years. So no, I don't care for Kentucky Todd, Anna. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion too. All of these men, I promise you, are really like bitter, angry. And if it's a woman doing it, they're going to be mad because women can't make commentary. We're supposed to talk about hair and makeup or some BS-ery, not about these low-level losers.
And look, hey, I'm not be a female. I feel the same way. I'm no yes.
I was saying it, girl.
I like to do things. I don't want a pig of a man that leaves his clothes laying on the floor and makes a mess.
He used to be that E4 mafia. So anytime any of these guys come out and they have to change their channel names and they try to come out and they want to say something about reaction channels and not just stick to what they're talking about, that's when I say to them, they don't know how the YouTube game is played and they need to keep away. There's a lot of these guys, they come after me and probably Vicky all the time, promise you. I don't care for him either. I don't care for the fact that they all try to disparage my professional career and my qualifications when they actually don't hold any themselves. Not at least in the topics and on the conversations that I speak around, which is often health. And so it's classic. It's a classic misogyny. It's like a red pill. And that's why I don't even talk about these guys. That's why I don't give them any props. Certain channels I'll promote. Those guys, nope, can't stand them.
And lazy, and doesn't take care of himself, drinks, smokes, or whatever that's unattractive about it, or argues with you, or doesn't want to do the same things you want to do, doesn't share the same dreams you do. And so you might say, you know what, it's just not, but you might be sitting there stuck in it. So I don't know if God just keeps me this way because, of course, my life is what it is now. And now I'm going to get to the crux of the video.
Yeah, thanks, Anna.
A real doozy. I told you I'm just going to wing it.
I mean, you make your choices, but these guys, there's a lot of them. Oh, there's a ton of them. Oh, yeah, they always want to disparage. Always. I've had so many. Oh, now there's some lady because she came to my comment section and said that I had a crush on Tim. And the reason why I made commentary about this man was because I had a crush on him. I have to deal with the most misogynistic garbage that you would not believe as a female reaction channel. It's part of the reason why I just don't even care what I look like coming out here, because it's not about me being a female. It's about me literally being just another like American, hardworking, tax-paying, property-owning citizen who actually has professional expertise and also has studied a lot of psychiatry and watches like how people manipulate. I was married to somebody who is a very famous star in Mexico, very well known. That his brother was a huge politician. I have seen how people use the media, manipulation tactics. I have a deeper understanding of these things. And I'm kind of an introvert person, though. So I'm not trying to be all chi-chi and cha-cha. I'd much rather be more cerebral. And I'm certainly not going to be a lot of blah, blah. So I have dealt with so much stuff on. And I'm not going to talk anymore. Let's react. But that's my soapbox today.
And any gender out there, or anybody that
that's
knows
my
me,
one soapbox.
And I know people watch me that were with me. But here's the deal.
Yeah, he is rude.
This whole thing rude. With the motorcycles and
they're all
travel.
Rude. No, he's rude. They're all rude.
This is who I am.
All right, let's get back
And
to the topic.
when I talk
Yeah.
about stories to you, when I
We'll do that
lived
as
in
a members
California, I
only,
used to
guys.
surf and I had a sand rail. That was right when I was going through one of my divorces. And I started, just kind of doing my own thing. Like sitting around moping, which I did a lot of that too.
I have, you know what? Jolene's a whole nother topic too, you know what? And she is aware of Tim's behavior. I think she is complicit. I think she is just another Tim side character. And going forward, Jolene and Ted are fair game, in my opinion. And if you watch and you become a member to my YouTube channel and join The Good Life, you can watch the member only video that was private and adult content restricted, and you will find out the whole story there.
I was brokenhearted. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It's a tough thing to have your heart broken. Your ego broken is what it is. Think about somebody else with your woman. She doesn't want you anymore. She's saying all those things to another guy. And she's saying you were the soulmate. Now there's a soulmate.
Gen X, look, you could marry something like this. No, when we get older, I promise you don't want to be anybody's nurse with a purse. Keep your money, girl. Nobody wants to be the hospice wife.
No, it's just like I say in the beginning, it's I love you. And
anyway, I would remarry is the guy's got to be 80 and really rich and about to die.
It's like, hell yeah. It's just the way it is. So anyway, in California, when I was doing the desert stuff and all, those were some memories, man. I'm reliving that now. I'm all hitting on all 8 right now. I have nothing in my mind about somebody else or needing to go Friday night or Saturday night out to some club or some meeting.
He still may have good credit. All you have to do is do like car loans or credit cards and all the stuff that Tim has, and you'll get decent revolving credit. I promise you, because I recently went for a mortgage. Credit doesn't make really a lot of difference on what you're going to get on your mortgage interest rate. There's a lot of other factors involved around income.
Place or church or anywhere else, or go online, dating line, and put a story together, a bio together, and sit and wait for the phone to ring or the email to come in, and go out and process through all the sewage, all the lies and deception you'll get. I'll probably tell my own. I mean, how do you meet somebody the first minute and say, oh yeah, this is what happened to me with that one, and you want to put it all on them. You want to talk about your faults. And then they want to say, oh yeah, this is what happened with me on that one. And he was a piece of work. And turns out we're all pieces of work. We're all incompatible maybe or something, or it just wasn't the right one. But
Tim, I have friends of mine who do great being married. Okay. Some people, though, if you're somebody who's got probably impulse control disorders and probably lying to your spouse and, skipping rent and buying sand rails over the top of everything else and not worrying about, how you're going to get your kid to a doctor or put a roof over the kid's head. Promise you, most women aren't going to want to think that's really fun. Okay. That is not the ideal mate. All right. You're a selfish SOB and you know it. Just a minute. And you've got problems. You have deep issues that you've never addressed in therapy. And that's why we get to see you go all wild buying toys on the internet and bald-faced lying.
People don't want to live like that. They want to keep trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And when I finally get my freedom, when I get out of my prison relationship, I'm free, free indeed. And I don't want to try to get back into that. I just want.
I've been married, never had kids. I think being married so early prevented me from making better financial decisions young, and a lot of money got wasted. I can't say I'm a millionaire. I can't say that. I'd like to be, though.
So now, the part of my video that I wanted to talk about was really if you want to live this kind of a life, male or female, I think you got to be solo. So you have to be solo. You got to be single. And you got to want to. It's like when I told the story about when I traveled across with my Harley. And if I pulled into a gas station with a sleeping bag and all this stuff packed up on the back, people.
Oh, yeah. Tim could, easily love bomb some woman if he wanted to. But the thing is, wouldn't take them long to find out his history on the internet. So you got to be real careful. Maybe that's why he got upset with everybody making stuff around Christmas time. Because maybe there were some single ladies kind of coming down the snowbirds. Tim was hoping to get in there. And if he tells he's got a Sarasota Tim YouTube channel, promise you, one of his videos play, and I know already that one of my videos about him being a fraudster is the next one coming out. It's a public warning. That's why I do this. It's a PSA. It's a PSA.
Would approach me, hey, these guys would be getting gas. The wife would be in the car. He's like, man, I wish I lived for me. live for me.
Yeah,
And I had a guy tell me that. You're my life.
Come on in.
But they'll approach you because you're by yourself and you meet people. But if I was traveling even with one other person, this is another one of my sayings. You're a gang.
Yeah.
If you see two motorcycles come in, think about it. Well, they're together.
Well, that's why Tim's getting pally with the daughter, because he thinks the daughter is going to be his like hospice child. And if she was smart, she wouldn't do it. But she seems like a nice lady, so she probably is going to do it, you know? And I feel bad because she will exhaust herself.
Not a gang, but they're like, hey, not going to approach them. People do, but, versus the solo guy or gal coming in, sleeping bag, bungee cords, all this stuff.
It's, and I think that's smart to understand that when you reach, the only people that you hear wanting to get remarried again are people who've probably been married 3 or 4 times. That's a red flag in my estimation. And it shows a certain lack of stability. I just think that's not, I mean, you got to have some extenuating circumstances. And I don't think anybody has quite that much. And if they did, and that many spouses died, it's probably going to be an investigation involved.
Wrapped up on their motorcycle. And they're like, hey, are you traveling? You going somewhere? What are you doing? You don't want to do that. And that's what I want to do again. I want to relive. That's what I was trying to say earlier about the zodiac sign. It said, you're going to have your dessert. I'm going to be the dessert in life. That I will finally come into my own, I will come into fruition. I will come into bearing the fruits of my labor and who I am.
Oh my gosh, Tim. You really were looking at your 2026 horoscope, or did you ask ChatGPT what your 2026 horoscope is? Yeah, I'm probably coming into money and stuff too. Make sure you hit the likes.
Youthful looks with a healthy body, with a great personality. Listen to this guy. No, I mean, really, because I can't help but be happy and charged up right now. And I have a few things, and I'm trying to get something else to make this idea happen. And I'm not trying to put a square peg in a round hole, because I do.
I'm sorry,
keep tapping the brakes and saying, wait a minute, Lord, I've already got a lot here to be thankful for. If this is not the plan, but he says, son, it is the plan. It's the plan. It's always been.
Jesus doesn't, this is how I feel like Tim never spoke to a pastor in his life. My pastor explained to me that God doesn't really like individually be watching all of your lives. Okay. It's a little bit more deep than that, Tim. God is not intervening individually in your life. You look at the readings and the teachings in order to guide how you behave in your life. And I don't think you understand to do that. And that's why your life is so poorly guided if you were really trying to use the Bible. Because you just think you're going to sit there and think about something like a motorbike. And in your mind, when your own brain is talking to you, that's God. No, Tim, that's just your impulse control disorder talking to you, sir. Not God. Okay? Let me clarify.
In the plan. I've just been maturing you and sharpening you, and now this last couple of chapters you've got left, before anything can happen this year, start feeling something, go to the doctor. I've said it before, right? Oh, you got it, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so you have to live your life. And I've come to the resolve.
Have you got something, Tim? Is that what you're putting? I mean, you can't be claiming disability insurance. We got to get these dates. I need to get we're going to have to actually do an investigation. The Social Security is another one.
Not just saying that. It's not a cliche. It's
nobody
real.
Wants to be your hospice.
I don't want to waste any more time. And I feel like trying to find somebody, and you know how long it takes to make a friend? Years, right? You know how long it takes to build a relationship with an opposite sex woman, or for a woman to have a relationship with a man? It takes time. It isn't like, oh, we know each other. We just met. We like each other. We're attracted. We're good. No, it has to grow. I don't have time for that now. That was something I had to do when I was younger. That should have lasted 50 or 60 years, like Fred and Raphael and other people I know. Many people. They're together 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I don't have that kind of time. I'm not going to be with somebody 60 years now. Likely not even 10 or 20.
I'm sure he had to go live because he's been blocked from my channel making comments, which is my prerogative as a creator. If I feel that my chat is being, and he tries to say all sorts of stuff in the chat just to be antagonistic. And that's not even like good feedback. As a commentator, you don't have to, you monitor your chat so people can have a good time. And he's a Debbie Downer. So he can sit looking sad in his trailer.
So
give me a like for that, guys. Oh, here we are.
And if you're happy and you know it, Clap your hands.
Drop a 1 in the chat if you want me to time Cougar Sand out of the chat. Drop a 2 if you want to keep Cougar Sand.
Oh, man, I just came right out. Remember that one? Anyway, when you're happy and you know it, clap your dang hands. But if a shoe fits, get yourself another one the same size. Crush your life. Don't look back. Don't let things or people tell you need to meet somebody.
Is there a is that something that would have to be settled by the family estate if Tim were to pass the remaining balance of that $58,000 plus EIDL money? That would be interesting to know, because I don't think currently maybe his assets could pay it off currently, but they're going to depreciate that truck and stuff. It's all depreciating assets.
I want you to meet somebody. You need to meet somebody. That's gonna be the best thing for you. Sell this, get a place, do this. What? To end up doing what the other 4 or 5 I was with in the end, and then start again at 70, 75 years old? No.
Oh, we got a mix.
No, I'm all done with that.
Yeah.
Now it's my time of my life. It's my time
again.
Get
away with it.
And I spent plenty of my time, and they did too. They gave their time when they were with me, but no more. I don't want it. I don't like the sound of it. I don't care about it. And you can't believe a damn thing I say, because
yeah. Well, we know that, Tim, because you said you weren't going to buy another motorbike. You bought a Goldwing, and less than 6 months later, you have a dirt bike. And we've already seen you purchase dirt bikes and sell them. And how much is going to revive your channel? Best thing ever.
If that blonde I saw today were to have come up to me and said, you know what? You look good from every angle.
Thank you, Catherine, for your help.
Said, yeah? What's your name?
Thank you, Catherine, for moderating. You have fun. I know the weather's good in New Zealand. This is your summertime, so go out and enjoy. Have a good day.
You know, I'm kind of a pushover. But, hey, I don't need this video to really say that I don't ever want to be with a woman again, because, hey, I'm a man, and I certainly do. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely do. But it doesn't have to be, I don't know. I can't describe it. I can tell you this, though. I'm very excited about, hey, maybe this life is going to bring that person in my life. As I go out across the country, maybe that Miss Wonderful is over there in Arizona. As long as I stay here, I'm never going to meet her. If I go to Arizona or Texas or California or Utah.
Hey, Cougar said, I know you were a troll, which is why I kept you around. And I always appreciate the engagement. This guy has got impulse control issues and should not be promoting, like I said, there are things that obviously within this advice that are going to be good pieces of advice. From any turd, there's probably a diamond.
Give me a Mormon. You never know. You just never know. But you have a better chance. Like they say, a blind squirrel finds a nut if he runs around the yard long enough. A clock's right twice a day. I got more. You want
what?
A
broken clock is right twice a day. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. That's the saying, Tim. You're supposedly so gifted with the gab.
But I think that pushing forward with this travel plan, for me, for what's keeping me young, for what's keeping this camera here going, that's interesting to you too, and that motivates me, I don't see any reason to deviate from it or to distract from it. It's just building. It's like a snowball. It just keeps building. And that's probably one of the...
the snowball is, Tim, why are you buying it like a dirt bike in a place, in a state that has no hills or mountains? There's no reason to have a dirt bike in a place like Florida. You got to go out to Georgia or Tennessee. You now have to take the bike into the mountains. Where are you going to be dirt biking in Florida, Tim? Come on, be serious.
Things that would prevent me or ruin something for me or change the situation for me, I should say, is because of my social media life. It's just, it is what it is. And, until YouTube goes out of business or YouTube.
Here we go, guys. This is important. Right at the end, this is why you have to watch him. You can't that's why we ended up watching this whole thing. This is the nugget here about YouTube. This is why Tim is so strike happy. SOB. It's all about protecting his YouTube money. It's all about protecting his image, I guess. He doesn't want people calling him out. Difficulty is, Tim, people need to not send you money into helping you with your shopping addiction. And while you're trying to tell people you have information around Social Security, or you're going to show them how to live minimalistically because they didn't get it together to have a good retirement, you are literally using people, and you've used the US taxpayer. That's the worst part. And you've deleted those videos and you call them business loans and things now. Very duplicitous, Tim.
Who says, hey, we got AI now. We don't need you. You know, until that happens and people will watch, and I enjoy doing it, and I can do it, I'm going to do it. Because
oh, great. Yeah. But Tim is not going to stop putting out the content, guys, as long as you're enjoying it, you know. But he cycles back always to the motorbike content. And he just has not understood that a 67-year-old guy who's not really riding it is not going to be anything but laughable as content. It's not like he's a 20-year-old who's going to be out there doing tricks and doing enduro sport or something. He's just not. And we're not going to see him on the Red Bull like extreme sports or anything, you know? You're going to watch this old guy like with one eye like put off on this thing, get petrified, and then sell it.
Be happy. You can't look at yourself like, man,
yeah,
I could have done this 10 years ago, but now here I lay on a bed horizontal. I can't get out of it. And I chose to do this other thing because I didn't do what I wanted to do, and here I am, and what a regret. And I'm just waiting to take my last breath.
Yeah, he's no regrets, you know, because Tim's never done what Tim's wanted to do in his life.
Sitting there sad and lonely and pitiful. And I don't want to be that guy. No. Because if the good Lord took me tonight, I can definitely say, I crushed it.
Oh, no. Tim. No. Oh, this lady was a hot mess. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Tim, I don't think you're crushing it. Okay, let me share this real quick. This is this study. I won't go too long. I did link it in the description box. So if you want to take a look and read it further, then I would recommend that you do so. This was a study from the Journal of Behavioral Addiction. It is from 2021. These are all the things that when I, you know, Tim talking about his horoscopes or whatever, reading from Jesus Calling. When I read information about, you know, and obviously I do not treat or diagnose. This is for educational information purposes only. And even though I am a registered nurse in the United States, don't treat or diagnose. Okay. So this is the proposed. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, no, don't do that. Hold on. Sorry. Proposed diagnostic criteria for compulsive buying shopping disorder, a Delphi expert consensus study. So a Delphi consensus study, Delphi method is a way for those in the psychiatric field to be able to try to help in creating diagnostic criteria for individuals, because obviously unlike physical, you know, illnesses where we can measure, say, well, it is physical because it's dealing with the brain, but the brain is not easy to actually kind of measure, say, for example, serotonin or dopamine or any of your other gabapentin, any of your neurotransmitters in your brain. It is not easy to measure like you could measure, say, sodium in the blood. So when we comes to making actually any type of study or being able to diagnose a patient in order to treat them, you have to do like surveys with the patients in order to start to, you know, say, okay, yeah, okay, they have major depressive disorder, they have anxiety. So there's all these different surveys that we can give to people, like a PHQ-9, which is used with like depressive disorders in order to be able to assess and correctly diagnose patients. So one of the things that they have spoken about is not having these types of criteria in the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual that we use for diagnosing any type of mental health disorders. And it's good to have these for ICD-10s. One, we're able to classify. It's easier to do studies, track information, obviously insurance purposes here in the United States, treatment purposes, medication purposes. Anything in medicine, you're going to want to have a system in place, and you're not just going to say stuff because it feel good. I think a lot of people, that's something that can be done. The EID loan, if you die, your EID debt doesn't disappear. It becomes a claim against your estate from your assets. Good to know. Good to know. So, Tim thinks that, Tim's not worried it's going to die with him because he's not leaving anything for the kids. So one of the things that I have just feel that watching Tim, and if you look at the videos just in the last couple of days, and I spoke about that, just the Amazon shopping haul, the knife he was showing, this, we all know he's returning stuff to Walmart. He buys more pants, shoes, tennis shoes, watches, chairs, this, that. I mean, the man is like, I could not deal with it. I don't even like to shop that much. It gives me anxiety watching the way he spends money. And so one of the reasons why they did this study was that there has been a consensus within the field that acknowledging compulsive buying shopping disorder as a distinct diagnosis is very much lacking, and it needs to be addressed. And so in order for us as professionals to research this field further, you need to get these diagnostic things in place in order to get funding and money and research. It's just something, and we have not been able to do it. So this talks about all these different ways the Delphi method was set up. Okay, so what they were looking at about the idea about whether or not somebody would fall into this diagnostic criteria is A, and then think about this when we think about Tim, and he talks about sitting and watching the YouTube videos, getting really obsessed about the topic. Then he goes out and purchases this. I think he's done with this with firearms, you name it. I mean, he's got how many firearms, this, that, and the other. Okay, so one is with respect to diagnostic criteria, there were a clear expert consensus about inclusion of the persistent and reoccurrent experience of A, intrusive and or irresistible urges and or impulses and or cravings and or preoccupations for buying shopping. Tim is obsessed. I've never known anything. I hate going to the store. One thing I don't like to do is part with my money. Parting with my money is the thing I least like doing. Tim is parting with his money because Tim somehow thinks he's going to make money from parting with the money because he's going to sell it. It's pathological, in my opinion. Diminished control over buying shopping, excessive purchasing of items without utilizing them for their intended purposes. How many motorbikes are we going to watch Tim purchase and not really utilize? Over $30,000 in motorbikes have been purchased after he was sent a free e-bike and all of this stuff. He just cannot stop. He's obviously got some type of depressive disorder, in my opinion, that's being masked by this excessive shopping because he has low self-esteem. Because in reality, let's look, he's living in a trailer on a slab in Bradenton. He's going to have he has low self-esteem. As much as he braggart and all this, it's a mask. It's a mask. And I don't feel bad because he's a dishonest character on the internet. I struck my channel many times, and he has fraudulently, in my opinion, taken EIDL money. Over $58,000. You cannot tell me that his coupon business earned in a 6-month period, which is what these loans were based on often, $58,000 in sales. For a few hours a week, a couple of days. If that were the case, everybody and his mother would have been knocking at my door here trying to sell me an oil change coupon. If it were that lucrative. Promise you. Nobody in the United States would let that opportunity go. Use of buying shopping to regulate internal states. So internal states meaning feelings of low self-worth, negative emotions. Any of these would be part of his internal states that he could potentially, depression, any of these types of things. Negative consequences and impairment in important areas of functioning due to buying or shopping. I am wondering, think about his channel, how his channel isn't growing, how his audience is somewhat starting to turn against him, because it's not just about watching Tim do well, and the haters being jealous. It's now about this person who is a very unhappy man using his lack of impulse control, all this constant purchasing and stuff, to say that he's living the best life ever and crushing it. When we, in reality, for many of us, know that he looks like he's living a really sad and empty life. And I don't think he should be trying to sell that as something that people his age should be doing. I think that in reality, they're going to feel shallow, they're going to feel lonely, and they're going to feel very empty, and then potentially in an ICU. Emotional cognitive symptoms upon cessation of excessive buying, shopping. So think about Tim. In the next few days, and the full moon's going to come off its cycle, watch how Tim potentially is going to be depressed. Okay, especially if there gets like one rainy day in Florida, or a couple of rainy days, or it gets cold or something, and he cannot be out on that bike or doing something, you'll see his mood like fall apart inside that camper. Maintenance or escalation of dysfunctional buying, shopping behavior despite negative consequences. At the start of this year, Tim said that he was going to find himself in a more religious journey and be, that he realized, remember that he had the one video that it shouldn't be all about me, buying stuff, this, that, and the other. He had one epiphany, and then after that, he went the complete 180 and just went just over the top and buying everything. And then purchasing a dirt bike when you already have a motorcycle. None of these are kept in the garage. It's just all sitting out in the Florida sun, trying to say these are investment pieces. Nobody thinks that buying depreciating assets brand new are investments. You've bought like the F-150 to the 250 to the CC Rider, we've seen just over a couple of years. I have had one car that's about to be paid off. I've had it for 5 years now. And thinking how I'll keep it for the next 5 or more. There's no reason. The car gives me no trouble. I don't need to have I don't care what people think about me when I'm driving on the street. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. It just doesn't. Anyway. So that's kind of a little bit about that. And it talked about, described for well over 100 years, the clinical history. Anyway, I don't want to lose all the audience, but if you did want to read up a little bit more about that, please do so. But I feel that he has, in a lot of ways, hit a lot of these. So let's get back over to Tim's channel, look at one last video, and we'll wrap it up, guys. I don't think he's brought out anything new today. So he's sitting in his camper, and I'm sure he is studying excessively his new bike, watching lots and lots of YouTube videos so that he can be an expert on this topic. I'm sure. Oh, the Honda might bring 22K, loss of thousands. Oh, he's always getting the best deal. And I'm sure that this is what the spouse has heard his whole life, and you can just imagine. It must have been insanity. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like. So yes, I think that Tim is displaying a lot of these types of behaviors, and this is the Tim cycle. So we could set it up as a little cycle. Like he goes into this, just like Foodie Beauty for the Foodie Beauty people. This is Tim's cycle, his little shopping cycle, this compulsive buying. And it really is impulse. If you take a look further into the article, I didn't want to lose everybody as I talk, but it is classified as other specified impulse control disorders. So Tim literally has an impulse control problem. It doesn't matter if he accumulates debts, which we knew he did in the past. and they were paid off by the EIDL and with his YouTube money. He's not been able to think about, to like really kind of comprehend any of the negative consequences of getting this dirt bike, including the type of injury a 67-year-old guy could get on a dirt bike. Are you serious? I mean, young at heart is one thing, but foolish is another. And Tim is not understanding that he's not had a long hospital stay. And if you're supposedly on disability, this guy's just a hot mess. But yeah, it says that there's about 5% of the people who have this. It causes all sorts of problems. Oh my goodness. But yes, if you are interested in reading a little bit further about that and about how we are starting to, like, especially with the, evolution of the internet and ability to shop so easily, anything, everywhere, and have it delivered, I think we're going to have to look further and further about this type of impulse control and behaviors. But people were like telling Tim in his chat, what are you doing? Just like his whole audience. And, he's got these views because people are just like, and this is all he cares about at the end of the day is this. All right. So this is the one where he was going to buy the motorcycle today. This is where he unboxed items at Amazon. I just want you to see this box real quick, and then we'll get out of here, obviously. Let's see. Because he brings out, look at this thing. All right, guys, you got to see this. I'm sure some of you hold on, he came out with it. Oh my God, the binoculars. Okay, let's see him troll us with the dang binoculars. Here he goes. All right, Tim, you're at 1.5 because I can't take you if you're slow. We'll just watch a moment.
All right, what do we got here? First thing we got here. Oh, there's the binoculars. I told you I bought some binoculars. Look at these babies right here. These are high-powered Oser binoculars. Let's take a look. I thought these would be good to have when you're traveling. You're on the road. You're looking for help. You're out there in the desert somewhere. You're looking for stuff. Look at this. Should pack up nicely. And take them out. What do you got here? A little strap. Oops, sorry. And then drop that. And let's take these out of the wrapper. Drop that. So here they are. And they're hooked right here. So, you simply remove. It's a nice soft rubber. They're connected. These little caps. It's a very see. It's not a hard plastic. And I know you can spread them, right? I want to break it. Why is it spreading? Spread. Oh, you got to be able to spread them. You know what they do? No? Oh, they pull apart. What did I do here? Oh my gosh, I'm looking the wrong way or what? Looks like I'm looking through a... Folks, I know these are supposed to open.
I think he has them back to front. This is what I'm saying. Why does he need look at the size of that box over here, guys. I don't even have Amazon. I feel guilty. I haven't bought it. I'm a lady, okay? I haven't bought a new handbag, and the one I have is like too small. I didn't realize how small it was. I haven't liked it. I've had it over a year, okay? My money goes to dog's teeth and stuff. It's really unglamorous. I just could not imagine. I just can't imagine. Dog puffer jackets and lights to keep them safe. This is just insanity. Look at this box over here. And this wasn't the stuff that brands send him. I had a brand reach out to me, and I'm excited because I am going to go ahead with that because it's something I really desperately want in the house.
What am I doing wrong? Pull these out. These come out. That just makes it look. I have to look at a YouTube video what is it? You got to focus here, and what do these do? I've never really known how binoculars work in that respect. Now, there's
like a ahoy matey, like a ship's binocular. He just needs the one eye one. Exactly.
A little place where that lanyard goes or leash. I guess there's one on each side. You can hang it on your neck. But why can't I open these? Oh, you push down. Are you kidding me? That's as wide as it gets. It can only get narrower. What? It looks like everything's further away. What's going on here? There's something I'm not doing right.
Yeah.
They definitely do not open more this way because that right there is, boom, blocking them.
Oh, he loves watching hater channels like me. This is his content. Look at it. I'm a minimalist. Look at all the BSery I bought. I don't care if my kids have to pay for all my long-term care when I get old. That's extremely expensive here in the United States. I don't care. He's not made any plans. His plans for aging is trying to kill himself on a dirt bike.
And
Jesus.
they don't spread apart.
Literally.
I know, I'm a
Jesus,
tourist, right?
where are you?
How come? What is the deal here? Okay. What do you have eyes like this close together? Come on. How do you do?
That's it for well, if they're a young lady, he can perv on. That's his young lady perv binoculars right there.
Do this. Look, it's hot in here now. I don't get it. Looks like a refund.
Puns.
Looks like a return. $35.
Yeah, he's gonna be a peeping
So
Tom. Yeah, peeping.
All right, I'll spend enough time on it. I cannot. I don't know.
Yep, he's gonna be a peeping Tim. Peeping. Well, we already know he showed all his goods to his neighbors in Laughlin when he went naked in the refrigerator and was like stood at the front of his camera or camper with just everything in his birthday suit hanging out. Yeah, it's a weird man.
You take this off. Folks,
Yeah.
it's so weird. You should see. Can you see in here? Look. It doesn't bring anything.
I'm the same way about pulling the trigger on stuff. I'll put it in my little cart and I'll think about it. Well, I have been wanting to upgrade a new bag because my one that I have is too small, but I like him to go over the shoulder because I like to be hands-free. So I haven't found one that I like yet. So I'm all, because I don't really like the hand carry because I got too much stuff going on.
Yeah, it makes it, have you ever looked in
But I agree.
My gosh. Folks. These feel so natural, tapered to big, that this is it. I was just getting ready to say, you ever looked at binoculars and you turn them around and it looks like a long tunnel and things go further away? It's hot in here.
No, he has.
Because that's you turn them around the wrong way. These totally
Yeah.
make you think this is what you do.
Yeah. $45 copay for the eye doctor. Eye drops for my glaucoma. That's a con. $7,000 for a brand new dirt bike to a 67-year-old guy. Absolute bargain deal. I'll make money off of that.
Totally wrong. They actually go this way because now I have that spread that I need to actually bring in now and make one circle. And so weird. How stupid of me. All right, now I'm just zooming in here, and I guess I'll have to figure out these things. Oh, it's these I'm gonna have to do my eyes. All right, anyway, I'll play these later. Got binoculars. All right. And
I mean, for what exactly? Didn't somebody give you like a rangefinder for the golf course? Is that for when you supposedly are going out on your adventures? You don't go on adventures, Tim. You go from one truck stop to another. There's no adventure. Nobody cares to see you go out west to drink coffee at a McDonald's. They all look the same. Doesn't matter where you are. Who gives a bollocks if it's $1.70 or $1.07 for a senior coffee in California and 97 cents in Sarasota? No one cares.
case. That is so weird that that's the front and that's the part you put up your eye. Oh,
All right.
Okay. Don't give up on me, folks.
Yeah, no, we're giving up on this video, Tim, because you just got a bunch of garbage in here. Look at all this just stuff. It's just stuff. All right, Tim, let's go over to the one where you try to convince yourself to spend money on a dirt bike. Let's see. Has he put anything out? Probably not. He is. I tell you, he's at home. He's studying up about the dirt bike. Because he's got to be like, sound like he's got a vague amount of expertise to come out and make one of his BS videos about it. Because he's got to get, 4,000 views on this Kawasaki dual sport. You know what? And I could see my ex-boyfriend clicking on to something just to look at the bike. Because I had an ex-boyfriend who was all into that.
how's it going?
Drove me nuts. Okay. He had the worst time anyway. Make sure you hit the likes, guys. Okay, let me check the poll before I go. Yeah, 134 votes. You guys are awesome. When will Tim sell the dirt bike? We have 135. Maybe we need to do a new poll about when will Tim have his first accident on the dirt bike? Or where is Tim today? I'll think of a poll. Let me finish this one out because we've got so many good votes. I'll think of a new good poll while we watch this wonderful video. When will Tim sell the dirt bike? And thank you guys for playing. In the next 3 months, say 49%. Tim, you're not keeping that thing, are you? In 3 to 6 months, say 40%. In over 6 months, say 9%. And 2%, never. Crushing it. Cougar saying, I know you put a never. I know that. All right, Kim, keep taking it away. Tell us, make sure you're at 1.5. Don't worry, guys. We're not going to watch 40 minutes of this. I should start editing and cutting his videos down. But that's like a lot of work.
Everybody, Sarasota Tim. Let's make some coffee. It is
not coffee.
7:26. Guess what time I got up? That's right, 3 a.m. Been up for hours and hours. And I was talking to my buddy AI. We're like this, you know. I tried Grok. I tried Gemini.
Now, that's another scary thing I wanted to say. Tim is like becoming way too pally with the AI. There's all sorts of like AI psychosis and stuff, Tim. You have to understand that they aren't always going to give you like a really like truly independent like opinion sometimes. I have all sorts. I've asked like one thing. I say things to AI almost. I've done it just as a laugh because I disagree with it so much. Like, no, that's not true. So, I mean, that's the problem, Tim. You don't have enough critical thinking to be able to actually realize that the AI is potentially misleading you.
And they both need work. There they are. You like some open ones. And look, I got one ready to go. This morning for coffee, we're just going to reach in and make it a mystery coffee. We're just going to reach in the cupboard. I've already drank a few. It's just making me sleepy is all it's doing because I'm absolutely wore out already. And I could potentially have to drive to Naples, the East Coast, Jacksonville, wherever there's a motorcycle at. So what I'm trying to do is buy a motorcycle. And at this point, I don't care which one. Just kidding. I do want to buy one. And I'm also so happy that I didn't let go of my money yesterday for the bike I was looking at. That is not to say that there was anything wrong with that bike. That bike I'd love to have that bike. But of course, my feet were just dangling in the air. That thing is so high. Dirt bikes are like that because they have to have a lot of travel to bounce up and down on bumps and stuff. But the problem is that bike is just brand new in the sense of that body style. So there are no used ones. And I definitely want to buy used. I went down there to get it. Praise God that it didn't fit me because when I do go to sell it, and I don't think I would sell it right away. I think I would have enjoyed it because it's a badass bike. But I mean, way better than, not better, but different than the Honda that I want to get. But if I were to go to sell it anytime, right away, 6 months from now, I'd lose my butt because I got a screaming deal from the guy. Screaming deal. But he can only do so much because it's new. He's got an invoice price that he can only go down to. Fortunately, he had a rebate and some other things. I guess Suzuki was kicking him back that he was able to, give it to me for what he did. And believe me, if my feet would have come anywhere close to that, it'd be sitting out here. But I said, I'm not going to get to a red light and possibly tip it over. And I'm certainly not going to be out there on technical rides in the mud and dirt roads and having to go up a hill and turn a corner. And I need to, put my foot down and articulate myself the way around a turn.
All those technical rides. You got to check out Darling's video where he was in 2022 struggling to be on a bike. Sorry, guys. I was typing. I just put out a new poll. So hold on. Just so you didn't have to see me concentrate on the questions. He's a very short 5'6". Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just like making out like he's going to be out there. If you've got to check out that video from Darling because he looks so sad on that motorbike, man. But he should just rented a bike for a day and had fun with it. You should have gone to a place where they do. I don't know if that even exists. Okay, polls out. All right. Let's see if we can get to over 100 votes. Will Tim have an AI girlfriend in 2026? It was ended up being the poll. She was talking to the AI. I don't know if it's like a buddy that won't argue back, or is it like going to become like a romantic partner? 24% say absolutely and crushing it. 67% say no, she can't pay for the cruise. If anybody knows about the Tammy lore, we know that she was the sugar mama paying for the cruises. And then the third option is, does she have a monetized channel? We know Tammy was complicit in helping Tim make money. All right, participate. It was a fun one. It was just for fun. All right, keep telling us, Tim, how you're gonna, just be like freaking evil Knievel out there on that dirt bike.
No, there's no ground. I can't ever touch it. Then I would fall over, and that's just not going to be what I want.
Nobody needs to see me slip.
I don't want to fall down, and that's likely to happen with any of these off-road bikes. So anyway, the coffee I put in was the holiday blend, not the Christmas blend. I put in 2.
You want to fall down? Seriously, Tim? Do you know how easy it is to break a bone as we age? That's put my poor Junebug into having a little, like one of her little puppy nightmares. Tim, you do it to her every time. My dog never has these like puppy nightmares until your voice comes on the camera.
Scoops. This would give me 4 scoops. So I only need to put in 1 bottle of water, maybe a little bit more. These are small bottles. So anyway, I discovered from yesterday, I had no idea. I mean, I've heard all the specifications about 35-inch seat height. My goal wing is 30, and I do have to get off my heels raw. I'm not flat-footing it, but it's not a problem at all. So I thought, well, okay, I know they're taller because they're dirt bike type things. How much taller could it be? Work. So
his AI, probably the AI girlfriend. Probably.
It was quite tall, actually. Too tall. I'm telling you, man, the people that want to buy that bike, if you're not a big guy, if you're not a tall guy or a long leg, you're not riding that bike. Who's this calling? Oh, just a reminder.
Tim, I thought you were telling everybody you were 5'10". Why would you be struggling then with the bike? If you're 5'10", that's like average height for a male. You wouldn't be struggling. I think you don't talk about your height in a truthful manner, Tim. I think another one of your lies out there. That's why you're low cal on YouTube, Tim. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. Let me heat this up a little bit. Some
40 minutes.
cold coffee. Let's give it a minute.
Oh.
Probably not enough. But it's only a half a cup.
Do you want to put it in the chat? Is this about the dirt bike? Or let us know. You know we can always cover it.
So look at me. I look like hell. Been up since 3 a.m. It's 7:30. And now I want to talk about, I guess it's to my good fortune that nobody calls you back. These people wanting to sell stuff, I don't get it. First of all, everybody has a phone. They sleep with their phone.
You can keep the mobile home in a bankruptcy? You could take. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's interesting to know. Do you think that's potentially why he is in a mobile? Well, we know other reasons. Because they've lived as your primary resident for at least 40 months. Okay. Oh, do you think he may try to file for bankruptcy? I wonder if he would. They wouldn't discharge, though, that EIDL, would it? Interesting. Yes, we don't think that you're an honest Christian, Tim. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing, Pastor.
People don't even silence your phone in the middle of the night. And I know some people do. And you should. But you got something on there for sale, you're trying to make some money, and someone calls, and on Facebook Marketplace, you can be rated, too, of how punctual you are, whether it was an accurate description. I mean, you get a credit rating. And it really surprises me about how they neglect to call you back. And then when they do talk to you, or you give them your phone number and you say, look, just give me a call and we'll discuss it. So all this back and forth stuff. I mean, once let me see here if this is hot enough.
So I have a feeling that Timmy probably tried to side hustle, vehicle sales while he was doing his coupon business. I don't know if he probably didn't have a dealer's like license or anything like he probably was supposed to. But he probably did it in the respect that I'm sure he just was constantly buying and selling and probably losing a shit ton of money on it too. Because he's not like he's not going to auctions. It's the only way that works, Tim. Is when people go to auctions and they like get this like on a mass, like get a lot or something, because I've known people who work at auctions and do this sort of stuff in the vehicle world and thing. And the way that you're doing it through private sale and stuff, that's not the way to make money.
Yeah, black.
Not for somebody as intelligent as you.
I'll heat that up till the fresh is made. There you go. And we'll add the cream to it and heat that up.
And passive, knowing that you are a financial coach, good to know. Would love to have you here on you don't ever have to you don't have to show yourself. I know you have a channel too. I would say, or I would be curious to know your opinion. Do you think Tim is making good financial choices with his money? I wonder too. Because we always wonder if he writes all this off in his taxes as YouTube props and stuff. But there is caveats around how you are taking personal property and using it then as tax write-offs. Because then if you were having it, licensed in your state, you couldn't be putting it under personal property. You would have to be putting it under business property, correct? And unless he's just writing off mileage. I mean, I don't know. Tim is like, I feel like it just is always like the king of the write-offs, the king of the this. It'd be like me sitting here in this shirt and saying, oh, I need to write this shirt off because I showed up on my YouTube channel with it. The only thing that gets written off for taxes as far as my YouTube channel is concerned is, now I may change a little bit this year just because I had so many more expenses with the channel, with the attorney. And if you watch my members only, and I'm going to do one where I actually show the paperwork, I just have to hide some details like the attorney's names and stuff, certain things. So I don't put everything out there. But I can write those off, thankfully, because that's most of what I made from YouTube. But it's like, obviously, the attorneys for the thing with Tim. Because that was a business expense in order to protect my business. Internet, obviously the cost of StreamYard, the cost of my editor, certain things I know would legitimately be able to be used. As far as like writing off like part of my condo, there is so much that is involved in that. And usually you're better off just taking that like $500 credit for like having a business inside your home, because if you take the other choice, when you go to sell your property, there's all sorts of tax implications into it. So I just don't know how smart he is with any of this stuff. Yeah, he's the classic not qualified to become a car salesman. I mean, you should be pretty good with finances. You want your people like, probably the people that I buy my cars with, I've been working with these same people for like a long time. I think a lot of them have left finally because it's been like over a decade. But I like usually work with the same people.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just roll differently. I say what I do and I do what I say. If I'm telling you I'm going to meet you somewhere at 3:00,
yeah,
and I see that I'm going to be late, even 5.
I mean, that's the only thing, because he's got to do something. Well, he has to do something with his taxes because he is getting Social Security. So it's not like when he was like having like his business before. He legitimately has income coming in from the government, and then YouTube does send takes out some, I think some taxes. It says when you get your pay from YouTube, it says minus taxes. And you do get a 1099 from YouTube, which is obviously goes to the government. So Tim has a lot of now actual like tax implication paperwork that he can't avoid. So like he can't avoid the fact that Google submits their part of the 1099 to the government because they obviously need to get their part written off as far as all these creators monetized channels. So that's going to go tax. They know that stuff exists. And then they know too that he gets Social Security. So Tim is at a place he can't avoid doing his taxes, or he will be in really big trouble. And you can't always just assume that, being close to the age of passing away is going to protect you. At least, so he's got to be a lot more, he's got to file taxes at this point. And I think he was making a lot of money from his channel that would have messed around with what that earnings cap is when you are not at full retirement age. So he probably didn't get a lot of that Social Security money, or had to return a lot of it back, because he probably over-earned as far as that cap was concerned with YouTube. Sure, he's got a lot of stuff going on, but he'll never honestly speak about it. He'll just come out and show a dirt bike.
Minutes. I'm calling you, letting you know. I'm texting you.
We're coming up to tax season again.
And being on time is late.
I'm thinking about mine.
When you got an office job, these people that come in every single day to their office.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but they offer it with interest. It's not cheap to have a payment plan with the IRS. They will get you with the interest on that stuff. I promise you. Because my ex had a business and he was always like a late filer. He always get upset and stuff. It's like, you are the one who is doing this to yourself.
Either right on the second or 5 minutes late, like every single day. How damn annoying.
I'm coming to the place now where I'm getting all my papers together to do my taxes. And like I said, I didn't really worry about doing anything business-wise. I kind of took whatever tax hit with the YouTube last year. And I don't think I did a lot of write-offs, because when you start adding the write-offs into the calculation, they charge you for every little piece of paper you add into the system. And now we don't get to free file our federal taxes this year. So I am curious to see. And like I said, I have a lot more things that I need to do with my income, because obviously I had money come in for the donation to Bev. And obviously I then have that coming in as income, but then obviously I have it as a charitable donation. So I need to make sure I get a lot this year. I used Free Tax USA last year and they were awesome, but I'm going to have to, there's some work this year. Anyway,
I'd fire them or not, but I'd
that's
let them
not
know.
about 10
8 o'clock means 8 o'clock.
Man.
Or kill, I'm not trying to get more work out of somebody. I want to show that I'm underpaid. I always want to be underpaid. I always want to do more than I'm getting paid for, so that nobody can say you're overpaid. I just roll a different way. And I'm from the old school about your word is your honor. I don't need a deposit. If I tell you I'm going to come and buy it, I come and buy it.
Oh, where's your honor? Tim, people get scammed so much nowadays. I think you not educating your audience about how to protect themselves online is foolhardy. It is absolutely foolhardy. There's a reason why, stop talking about their word. It's a different day and age. Please don't forget to thank you. If Dimmy filed income taxes, he would have to pay taxes on the set. Yes. Well, he's going to have to. I mean, and have 1099 submitted and never file. Yeah, but it catches up with you at some point. It all catches up. Because when you need to get you start to age and you suddenly need to get services through Medicare and all of this and or Medicaid or whatever you need to get, and they start to try to look at stuff, that's where all these worms and things will start to show up. They will always come and get their money. That's how they got Al Capone. There's always people who are trying to, the smartest thing you can ever do in this country is just, get a good accountant. That's what somebody always taught me. If you want to be rich in this country, there's 3 things that you need: a good accountant, a good financial planner, and a good attorney. And probably people would say a good priest.
Plus, I know somebody else that has that same belief, and you guys know him, Teddy. And when he buys or sells something, he says, when people offer him a deposit, he goes, nope, I don't want a deposit. Anything can happen in between. When you got it all, come and give it to me. All these people want deposits to try to nail someone down, commit them. You say you're going to do it? Fine. You don't have the money right then? Okay. Well, if nobody else gets it, then when you get back, You want to give them a little courtesy hold for an hour or whatever. But buying and selling is what I've done my whole life. And it just really surprises me that you reach out to these people. I've got several on.
I don't think he's paying his income taxes lately because he never talks about it. And he'd be owing money. I'm sure he said in the past that he, had his accountants because I'm sure I don't think he does. That's why he doesn't talk about the topic. I freely talk about my taxes. It's just, and that's why I guess it's irritating to think that he took potentially tax money when he's never really been someone who's ever paid into the system. This is just a taker. Just take. And then he calls himself a conservative when he's like living the most socialist lifestyle, which I'm all for universal health care. Don't get me wrong and stuff. But there comes a point when you're just abusing the system in some ways. And that's not what, a good democracy is about. And then he demonizes other people. That's why he's just the worst on the internet.
Facebook that and I don't do is this still available? People hate that. I hate it too. I try to make a little talk in the chat so they know I'm not a bot or some scammer. And they don't respond. They're the seller. They don't respond.
They will get you. Wesley Snipes went to jail. Peter said, I owed them $15 and I didn't file it. And they waited 5 years and got me for over $5,000 in late fees and penalties. Absolutely. I had the most just diabolical time with the IRS because when I had a business, had taken out health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And these companies, they all wanted 2-year contracts. And after a year, I had canceled. There were all sorts of tax implications. I had to do special paperwork. I was filing my own taxes and doing all these forms. Got it resolved, but it's always a nightmare. Always a nightmare. And they're always like threatening to do stuff. Hey, Birdie.
The buyers that hit you up when you're selling something on Facebook, they wake up every morning or afternoon and they get alerted when there's new ads. It doesn't matter what it is. A bowling ball. They just go in, they go right down the line. Is this still available? Is this still available? And you get it. And then you respond with yes. Are you interested? And you never hear from them again.
Yeah, I saw Dr. Ed Weir had something about that, the income and the side hustles and all of that recently. It's probably because he sees so many like bait channels like Tim's always trying to tell people they got the secret to something, and they're just giving out bad advice because he's not even honest with his taxes and stuff, probably, in our opinion. And so it doesn't surprise me, and he's not really, he never gives that point when he did, but he doesn't. He's got real bad lately.
It's such a joke. Facebook is like Craigslist now. Everything in the world is a scam. And then I even tried to tell somebody, who I
takes a scammer to know one, Tim. I shouldn't say that because I call Tim a scammer. Am I a scammer? Oh no.
was, and you can check me out or something like that. And either they're so busy in their mind, how you can talk to people, you can tell they didn't hear a word you said. You can just see it in their eyes.
Yeah, I think
they're somewhere else.
I think he was 67 because he was December of 58. So I think he kind of hit that where he became 67. I think mine currently is 67. I was born in 69.
I'm texting this person and I'm thinking, all right, say something to let them know, you're not a scammer.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've already had these people not responding. And so I said, yeah, I'm a YouTuber, whatever. You check me out. And one guy immediately thought it was a scam or something and finally responded. And he says, kind of threw me a little bit about the YouTuber. I said, I didn't say it. I thought, what is so hard to read?
That's why Tim wants that 100K plaque because he's got nothing else. I'm a YouTuber. Tim, come on. If somebody asks me what I did for my job, do you know what I tell people? I'm a registered nurse. That's what I tell people.
When I spell it out, and a 2-year-old can understand it, and it looks like, not a scam, but like to assure someone that I'm a real person. Like the other day, I showed something to a guy. He came by here.
Okay.
He's from St. Pete. He said, I'm leaving right now.
Thank you. So just under 67. So whatever it is, Tim's not going to be honest.
He got here within a second. He couldn't find exactly where it is. He calls me up. He's a subscriber now. We're good friends. He was like, I do what I say and I say what I do. And he came. And
I was listening to something today where they were seriously saying about the fact that our Social Security checks could go down by 23%. And that would also affect Tim. And, Tim, what are you going to do if your Social Security goes down 23% and you're no longer at a physical age where you can be producing YouTube videos and you have squandered every one of your last pennies on just your impulse control issues that you never sought help or therapy for? And then you monetized it.
Bought it, and it's just and I've had a lot of luck like that too. Don't get me wrong. When I do sell something, it's always very nice and smooth. They just give you the money, and I show them what it is. I had a little bit of water. That's pretty good. Folks, that's the best cup of coffee I've ever drank in my life. Man, that's good.
And that is one way that they may start to use AI, is to start to look for people, or look for people that, people are talking about their EIDL and stuff. Wouldn't that be good? That might actually be a beneficial use of AI, other than having to listen to Tim and tell Tim that, I think it's a really good idea to get that motorbike.
Wake me up, please.
Oh God, that coffee.
God help me if I had to drive to
that
West Palm, or Miami, or Jacksonville or something. Yesterday I went down to Punta Gorda. I'm going to move to Punta Gorda.
If you want to hear about how exciting being a registered nurse is, make sure you check out my members only live from the other day. I talked a lot about catheter care. And see, I can just talk about those topics off the top of my head. Guess what that shows I have, Tim? Expertise in my subject matter.
I got a feeling. The last time I got a feeling like that, I was on a cross-country trip and on a Harley, and I got to Prevo, Utah. I think it's a college town, south of Salt Lake.
I know.
And I came in off the 80 or one in east-west.
I start thinking about my 2025 tax filings as 2025 is occurring. I used to have an accountant many years ago. This is when this is like a totally different tax time. But when I was traveling as an RN and stuff, it was really very beneficial for me to actually have my own accountant. And for many years I did. And I always had huge refunds and stuff. I had worked for a doctor who used to get so upset at how well I would be able to, pay so little in taxes. I was like, but I'm a poor student, that's why I pay so little in tax. I've got a mortgage, it's like, and so, and I was a student. There was just, I had a lot of things, and obviously I have still those things in student loan interest and, but she taught me a lot. And so since then, I've been able to understand how, with the advances in software, how to do my taxes. And I'm okay with reading about tax law. One of the things I love is this time of year is having no tax experts come out and let you know the things that you should be considering in 2025 about your taxes. It was through a YouTube channel that I understood that I was able to take a tax advantage with my 401k money that I had to take out to cover my expenses when I was, sick and, found myself unemployed and had, maxed out even my savings. Doesn't take long when you have, still working and you have working expenses and co-payments and mortgages and all this stuff, and you're single. And so I was able to take advantage of a thing about taking out early retirement at 55 and not getting the same tax implications. And so but otherwise any other year would never be a good year to do a 401k withdrawal. That was the only time. And I was very fortunate. I wouldn't recommend it either, because obviously you lose all of your things, but push comes to shove and you need to keep the roof over your head. And that's what you had to do. That's what you had to do. But Tim, oh my gosh.
Freeway real far up to the north. And I dropped in at this road. It ran along the front of this huge lake. Oh, it's slippable. Was it Prevo?
Exactly.
That's a motorhome.
Good for you, Miss Vicky. And I know you still like your job, so you'll be able to take advantage of all of that. And that's probably where, a lot of us would like to see things come. And Tim is Tim didn't have anything. Tim had no career. He could not even get a job at a Lidl or anything because he has no education. I mean, he's not somebody like, he's got no resume. You know, I promise you, there's one point I thought I was going to just quit nursing. You know, I just, you know, we all get burned out at some point. And I just said, you know what? I'll just go work at Trader Joe's. And I sent them my resume. I promise you, I had a call in a day. They'll take a nurse like that because they know we can work hard and hustle.
Something like that.
Get hired easily.
That town. Let me know in the comments. And the road that ran along the lake, beautiful lake. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I'm on the Harley. I'm thousands of miles from Atlanta.
And like I said, Dr. Ed Weir had a video, and I'm going to have to watch it, that because it's kind of info for, you know, talking about Tim, because obviously I'm not quite at that age. Getting closer and closer, though, as we know. So I'm learning because I'm preparing for the future. But Tim is, you know, and they talked about how that side hustle can be a trap, and you've got to be really careful, you know, with those caps and stuff. And he made a video specifically because I know he knows there's a lot of people who use that as a clickbait to get, you know, people who maybe aren't as educated around the topic to watch shite videos from uneducated non-experts like Tim.
That's where I lived. And I'm riding this thing. I'm all packed up, you know, with my bags and stuff. Hey, look, folks.
Oh, no. I don't think you're wrong.
40 to 60. Here,
I don't know.
Goes in the back seat. This way, on the trunk rack, whatever you want. I did find out that bag of straps. It's the stuff that goes on here. Anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, well, let's go for a great 2026. You know, 2025 was a disruptive year in so many ways, I guess. Just globally, I hate to say, I don't know, it's just world as well. So I really appreciate that. We are going to have a great 2026. I am like kicking off strong in the Life and Vibe community this year, and inspired because you guys are such a great community and I have so much fun. And I just forgot how much fun I had live streaming. It seems like Verizon has fixed my wireless issues and StreamYard is being my friend. So I appreciate that. You can make any amount that you make. You get paid back the income if you live long enough. That's the thing. It's also personalized. And that's, you know, the virtue of collecting money as an employee and a business can't be both, but he's greedy. He did all sorts of shady stuff with those filings, man. Wire fraud. You know? Oh. You know, he makes it so I don't want to retire early.
Smaller one, go on top of it. Anyway, I'm coming around this lake.
You know what? You've convinced me of Tim to stay working as long as I possibly can. And just working differently. Like I said, I've already gone from working 5 days a week to 4 days a week. I always worked 5. I worked, you know, 40, 50, 60. I mean, I've done all those types of hours as a nurse. I promise you. I've had so much tax come out of one paycheck because I worked overtime 1 week. It's ridiculous. It's just some of my taxes I've looked at, you know, as a nurse, and you think when you were younger and when you get older and you're obviously, you know, increasing as your income as you age, and you look at it, you're like, dang, the amount I paid in taxes what I used to take home as an annual salary back in the day. You know, I promise you, I have a lot of friends, you know, that are not in the medical field. And then obviously I have myself and my medical field friends. And when we go out and hang out with our non-medical friends, they often are envious of the sort of, you know, income earnings. Obviously, we can get into the medical field, you know, especially as females, you know, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I did sign the petition to make sure that nursing stays recognized as a profession. Thank you very much, Department of Education, for trying to stop us from getting funding.
Off the freeway, and I-15, I believe, run right through there. It goes on up to Salt Lake, and I drop down to Vegas from there. You know. Anyway, I'm driving around. I'm like, oh, look how beautiful! And the mountains on this side, on my left of the highway.
Hey. It is confusing, and that's why it's so good that Dr. Ed is like actually got a channel and has so much experience and has like the honor of an ex-Marine, you know, and is like really doing like the work of somebody who's an educator that to try to dispel all the myths that people like this guy who come out and just say stuff to get money off of YouTube with no, because when people actually go to his comment section to ask him questions and stuff, he had no idea. You know, he should have just come out and said, you know, it works for me. This is my personal story, and just left it at that. Not, he initially came out, he tried to have that piece of paper in his hand, like, look, I got my numbers. You know, you want to listen to somebody who just off the top of their head knows what they're talking about and is still like in contact. That channel, he's if you really do have a question about Social Security and you want it answered, go to his channel and speak to them for free. He'll talk to you for free. He has live Q&As every day, 1,000 people in the chat, all on different topics, you name it. He's discussing it. He blows Tim out of the water on this topic. That's why Tim only does like one video. He can't get the traction anymore. There's too many, you know, the only reason why Tim got that traction was because so many people were out of work because of the situation globally at the time. Otherwise, that video would have done nothing.
The road went around the front of this big, beautiful lake.
That's my opinion.
The mountains were right there on the shoulder. They went straight up. It wasn't like mountains off in the distance. It was really very, very beautiful. And you go around the lake and you come around a corner, and all of a sudden, the mountain had a different look. It was. I
swear, I one day want to prepare a question for Dr. Ed about YouTube and Tim, but I know that's why he said that's why he started the channel. He's got videos now. I mean, he blows Tim's channel out the water now. I mean, and I'm so glad because this guy was a federal worker. He was in the military. And if he's making bank off of YouTube and he's able to educate so many people, he probably is doing good stuff for his family with it. He is so much of a better man than Sarasota Tim will ever be. That's a person with a true serving heart, Tim. Dr. Weir has a true heart of service. You don't understand that. You would never understand that. You are a low-level loser, Tim. That's just it. You are a subpar white guy who never could make it. You wear fake watches and, you know, ride around in a truck for a builder, but you can't even like take care of a tap in your RV. You're just a liar.
More greener or something, or smoother, and it just kept changing. It just like
you have
like a movie. I was engrossed, and then I got into town and I went to this.
Absolutely, that's why I said he is the best, I think, for Social Security information on this platform. He is never good. He is a straight shooter. And, you know, whether you agree, you know, I agree obviously with his political stance because he really does care about people and he really does care about protecting seniors and protecting like the ability for people to access money. He genuinely freaking cares. You don't care, Tim, except to line your own dang pockets.
Gas station to get gas. And, I think it was a truck stop or something because they had an area in the back you could sit with a TV and whatever. And I made some phone calls. I actually contacted my sister from there.
Thank you, Sam, for that. Super.
I could live here.
Oh my gosh. You know, I would love to get somebody like Dr. Ed Weir on this channel. But I know I will just send you over to his channel to get him views. But he absolutely, and he does it every day. I mean, and just you could tell he really is knowledgeable and passionate and is going to give good advice, you know? And the only reason why I'm here as a nurse is like, it's so hard. I thought, like I said, Tim, you know, is going to get people getting scammed on the internet. I thank you, girl. He's been a burden he is a burden. He's going to be a burden to his daughter soon. Keep going, Tim.
I want to move here. I see myself here. I don't know. Something just drew me. I never forgot it. I've never been back. I've never forgot it, though. Now, I don't know if I had that kind of a pull yesterday in Punta Gorda when I got off the freeway, but there's a very quaint looking little strip of not downtown. I don't want to call it a downtown. You know, it looked like bars and stores and it wasn't all fancy, new, modern and, you know, high dollar looking like Rodeo Drive. It looked like, you know, outdoor patios and place to kick it, like a gathering spot. And the guys at the Destination Power Sports were telling me, oh, yeah, they put up fences, you know, and they do these things on the weekends and people come there. It's a real gathering spot. And it just reminded me of old Florida. And I said, oh, You know, because I remember here. I remember here in 15, and that isn't.
Tim is a YouTuber. I mean, not that I always have the best lighting and stuff in my reactions, but this lighting and this on your head and all of this looks terrible. This just looks really bad. Like you don't care about what your studio setup looks like. It's just like, God, he's so lazy.
Even nothing, but it was way smaller than it is now. But when I remember growing up in Lake Worth of how it was, you know, in the 70s and the 80s, that's what kind of Punta Gorda reminded me of. Anyway, I might want to go down and take another video, pop in, see the guys, Bo and what was his name? God, all of a sudden, I said, you're going to say it and you're going to remember it.
Julian.
God.
Tim is like best friends with the guy selling him the dirt bike, but he can't remember the name. This guy, this compulsive buying, shopping, lack of impulse control. Just this dude with his Honda. Come on, Tim. Grow up, okay? You need to grow up, okay? About time you just grew up. I guess you're never going to grow up.
I do.
What a sad life.
Yeah. But
never be an adult.
yeah, I want to scout around down there and go into the water. I didn't go all the way to that store. Was on Hill Street or something, or Creek or something like that. And Destination Power Sports. And then the water wasn't too much further in. And I got to thinking this morning when I woke up, you know, I got money burning a hole in my pocket, I suppose.
It looks like he's got maybe some sunscreen from Equate. It looks like Walmart sunscreen. You desperately need to make sure you put sunscreen on, Tim. That's what it looks like. I recognize that sport.
that Yamaha jet ski for $25,000. I can see myself maybe not having that gold wing and pulling that around and dropping it in the water over here and doing some fishing and some skimming around. And in the summertime when it's just flat, which is always flat here, go out the pass, which I call inlets. They call them a pass over here. Go out the inlet.
All right, guys, you're going to hear the puppies getting fun on because they probably want to go for a walk in a minute. And they just woke up. Junebug woke up from her nap, and now she's trying to tell Roscoe she wants to play on the floor. So just warning for any dogs in the background. My dogs might set your dogs off.
Up and down the beach. You can be everywhere in a second on those things. It's a big, stable, amazing looking ski. We went and looked at that white one. I don't know if I put it in the video. I showed you the limited one with the rope and the tube and all. But I could turn that gold wing into one of those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Park it right there and take a rod.
Tim, you're about to sell the gold wing. I don't know why you're talking about the gold wing. This morning you went up. It just whatever, Tim. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right, Tim. Let's hear how many lies about all the things you're going to do with this gold wing. So far, you tried to go to Key West, of which you got upset about the primitive camping arrangements, knowing you picked the campsite. And I think it was just an excuse to get your butt over to Teddy and Jolene's for Christmas and your birthday and New Year's. And they let you stay for a little bit, but then you don't come with anything. You're the empty-handed guest. You're the fish that smells bad after a day. And so they were happy to get you out the door, but you're already talking about going back and visiting them. You bought a dirt bike in a state that has no tangible mountains to drive up and down on a dirt bike. The only thing you could do on a dirt bike is the roads. It makes no sense. But then again, it's you, Tim.
Like whatever. Get out there, scream up and down the bay around the little, we got these little islands and these little cove areas. You can get in water this deep with those things. Pull out the rod. That thing was so long. You stick your little rod.
Well, I wonder if he stays there because he's close to Fred and Raffaella, because Tammy gone and his kids aren't there. So it is interesting to know why he would stay in Bradenton, other than the fact he paid for that lease of that particular campsite, RV park, I should say, and doesn't know where else to go. I don't think he knows where to go. I mean, maybe his son-in-law is not that fond. Anyway, let's go. Oh, we're 81 votes. Let's get to 100 votes on the poll. Will Tim have an AI girlfriend in 2026? He needs somebody to give him good advice. 32% say absolutely and crushing it. 54% are the majority saying no, she can't pay for the cruise. And we have 14% saying, does she have a monetized channel? It could be OnlyFans. We don't care. Any type of monetized.
Down in there under the seat, a couple of artificials. You don't need live bait or anything. Get your redfish or whatever, and get your tan on. Get your outdoor.
No, Tim does bring stuff. It's the gifts his subscribers send him that he doesn't want anymore. That's what Tim takes to his friend's house. I don't think he took anything to JJ and Bev's house as a house gift. He took him out, I think, one time to a Chinese buffet. But I think JJ even picked somewhere inexpensive because he knew what a cheap SOB Tim is.
Creation on, get your Florida life going.
After Bev did the laundry.
Get excited. Or buy a pre-owned for probably half of that, right? Now, Julian was telling me that other brands, I think Polaris or another brand makes those jet skis, and then they get the Yamaha. And I said, what do you think's better? He goes, well, you know. I said, yeah, let me tell you this one. When you go to jet ski rental places, what do you think they have there?
Oh, Yamaha. Yeah, that's right.
When you go look at boats out there.
That's right. Tim's going to sell the Goldwing and get a jet ski so he can go fishing off the jet ski, guys. Junebug, you really taking Roscoe down today.
On the water and their outboard motors, what do you see? Predominantly Yamaha. Now, I know Suzuki and Mercury and all of them are popular too now, but until in the recent years, Yamaha. Because on those jet skis, when people rent them, they go out there and just run the heck out of them and do it.
He's probably sitting drinking some O'Deals with an Ambien chaser and watching either us at the moment or YouTube videos about the dual sport. And then he's probably trying to figure out how to sell the Goldwing, or he's already looking at videos about a jet ski. Something like that's happening because he's not putting any videos out today. So that's usually when he gets something new, he gets into this, he gets into some YouTube crazy because he wants to then purport he's an expert on it when he does his finally releases a video. He wants to be able to talk a little bit about the product.
Whatever they want. And they come back and they're still running like brand new. So Yamaha.
Yes. That's
why yesterday when I was looking at that Suzuki DRZ.
And Raffaella, because that's what women are for, We're good for, looking good and painted and, doing this loser's god darn laundry. And then and Bev has done it, Raphael, because they're nice people. I'd be like, I would never touch some other man's laundry. People do it to be nice. Look at this. Look at this lighting. Look at this lighting setup. Tim, that's the light calling you. They're calling you to the light, Tim.
Brand new for 25, fuel injection. It goes in the slot where you have really big 650, 500 cc adventure dirt bikes.
Right.
What do they call them?
Right. Nobody's children should be their retirement plan. None of us should exhaust ourselves, unless you just really wanted to do that for your parents. I can promise you, I am somebody who works as a caregiver, as a professional, okay? But I understand how to set boundaries because these are my patients, not my loved ones. So I know how to do self-care for myself at the end of the day. I can promise you, caring for people that are dying and on hospice is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. And a lot of people his daughter might try everything to try to keep him alive or something, because of the daddy-daughter guilt. And he's going to play on that. And I think it's disgusting because I see this sorry son of a bitch, pardon my French, putting himself on his daughter because his two sons aren't going to be the ones to take him. It's always the daughters. Stop doing it, women. Girls, we got to stop doing this, okay? It's okay. Men don't feel guilty if they don't do it. We don't have to do it either, okay? We're not free, paid, unpaid caregivers. Your parents chose to have you, okay? We didn't choose to be caregivers for elderly people, okay? We don't come from a family-centric culture. Now, if Tim had been a great dad, done everything for his kids, I get it. But he didn't. He did nothing. This is the type of dad, girls, leave these dads, leave them to care for themselves and their aging, okay? Don't exhaust yourself as caregivers. You will be exhausted.
Dual sport. But they're much heavier, too heavy for that thing I got on the back of my truck. Too big, too much, too powerful. And then you've got like the 300 Honda that I set out to buy that I still want. And that one fits right in the middle. And it was just like when you get to that 300 Honda and you're like 6 months later, like, oh man, I could go for.
It could have been the Ambien along with the beer. You know? So I don't know if he's like, I don't think he's getting high. I think that glassiness is probably like alcohol potentially. But if he's taking Ambien and O'Doul's still has alcohol. That's going to mess you up, man. It's going to mess you up.
More.
That's
that
what
Suzuki
I think
fits the bill. And you will never want more. That bike is, I haven't even ridden it, but I watch every YouTube video and I can feel it, through vicariously through other people. But I think the Honda's all I need to go out and do a little adventure and make some videos and discover. That's what I want to do. And it's going to bring me back. And I can load up on that ramp thing. It's not going to bounce off. It's lighter.
Right.
I'm limited. But
and I know that's a lot of work. Patients with dementia are a lot of work, and that's very stressful. And I'm glad you can just have fun with us today, because I worked as a hospice case manager and worked obviously in, severe, patients that, were getting all sorts of like, end of life anxieties and, all the stuff that goes on. So I know it's very difficult.
I could wipe out the whole motorcycle idea.
Self-care.
Now I live here in Florida.
Yep.
I have to have some recreation. There's got to be something for me to do. Not just yanking this around. This ain't, this is just somewhere to sleep in and eat in and all that. It's fun. I don't want to live in anything else. I don't want an apartment. This is great. I gotta turn that heater off. You say you got a heater on the bike? I do. In the morning, it's weird. Anyway, get a jet ski. I don't want a little boat, a skiff, or a little tiller motor. I don't want.
That's always a good guess. I mean, we could put a poll in. Where were you with the poll? Oh, 86 votes. If we get to 100, I'll end this poll. We'll do one last poll asking what Tim is up to today. I'll try to think of some fun answers. Keep going, Tim.
I don't like that.
My dogs want to go out for a walk.
Man, they get you there instantly.
The boardwalk.
You can ski with them, fish with them, play with them, jump around with them like a dirt bike thing. And when you fall off one of those, you don't get hurt. So, as you can tell, I'm going through some kind of midlife crisis again. And that's probably really what it is. And
Tim, tell me you're not watching the hater channels without telling me you're watching the hater channels. Because who said you had a midlife crisis going on was me. I said your retirement plan looks like a midlife crisis. And none of your comments that I saw used the terms midlife crisis. Tim, you have an impulse control issue. Okay. I put that in there because it's a good title to get views to my channel. Okay. You have an impulse control issue. And we've seen it because you also get very upset with people in the car when you're driving, which shows me a lack of impulse control. Many people have it. The difficulty is probably, Tim, because your upbringing sounded a little fractured. And many of us had those types of fractured experiences growing up. It was a time when parents were getting divorced more frequently. Your parents, did the same. My parents also were divorced. And potentially because of the parents having their own things going on, maybe didn't realize about teaching you about impulse control and impulse regulation. Maybe they themselves had impulse control problems or impulse regulation problems. And so these are all things that have to be taught to kids often in the home. These are things that, yes, it can be nature, but it's a lot of nurture involved. And I think that you did lack that nurturing environment and you've never been able to address it. And your life has just spun out because of it. And this is where you are now. That's my thought.
Well, it's fortunate that I am and that I'm able and I'm willing. So that's what I'm going to do. One of the above. I do think the traveling thing and off-roading, because that's my history. Yeah. I have a history of both surfing and being here in Florida growing up and on the water and in the lakes and foot skiing and, skiing behind the little boats with.
Right. And that's, and I, nobody should ever consider their parents to be their retirement plan. Unless you've got a big old trust fund sitting there or some sort of legacy money or something. Most of us should probably take the sort of sort of position that it's a nice to have. It's not necessarily going to be there, especially with costs of healthcare and everything. And if you want to ensure, care is expensive. Sadly, it is. And we are living longer and potentially with more disease processes that can be expensive to care for. I know. I work in the caregiving industry. I have to see and face so many of these situations, like face on all the time. I promise you. It makes it really, there to think about. And Tim, on the other hand, is kind of pushing the reality away, which is just very immature.
Surfboards, we take the skeg off,
Immature.
surfing out there on the ocean, over on the Atlantic, pier fishing, inlet fishing, all this kind of stuff. And then I've got this other side of me as I got older and got divorced, was traveling on motorcycles across the country, sand rail.
I think the thing is that Tim potentially doesn't want to drink like he had in the past. I think he realizes it is not beneficial to him. And I think Tammy is still consuming. And I think and when he was hanging out with her again, we saw his morning hangovers. We saw kind of how ugly he was on his videos. I mean, he's just his whole entire, she brings out a really ugly side of him. So I think it's good that he is away from Tammy. But I think that without therapy and really sitting down and addressing whatever these other issues are, Tim's life is going to spiral in some way, or he's not going to make very good decisions because he's masking low self-esteem, potentially depression, potentially lack of self-worth. I think that there's so many things that he hasn't been able to actualize and think about in his life that he is going to find it tough and a struggle. I think by most times when people hit their 50s, they feel that they have, potentially accomplished things. He has children, but he didn't raise them. Really, he can be proud of them, but how much really input did he have into their lives? One child doesn't speak to him. I think that, one of his children is working in a gig work type environment, which is great. If you want to be flexible, you probably saw it from Tim, but Tim is, is what Tim was, and I think that, if you've helped your children try to establish themselves, then I think that, yes, I wouldn't worry about the retirement. But I think as a parent, if you just came out in the world like Tim and you didn't even really help your children establish their lives and still can't even do anything, and then you become a burden when you age, that's just rude.
And it was a very adventurous, active life. Things that I've been involved. I scuba dive. There's a lot of stuff that I've done. And so now
I know.
I just kind of reminisce about.
And most parents, I think, do, and most children, adult children, are not wanting to take from their parents. But I think also in the current climate and how unfair really the housing situation is in the United States, I think if you are able to help your children out while you're still living and it doesn't really hurt you financially, I don't think setting up your children for having a better life is ever going to be a bad thing for them. I think it's just part of their competitive advantage in life, and I think that, as much as we want to, teach people to have to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, I promise you, wealthy families are not having their children, flounder like that. And so I think that, in some ways, maybe the culture around being so individualistic may need to change if we want people to be able to counteract some of the, income disparities in this country. That's, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. If you think that they're going to do something wise with that money and you have it to give, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I don't think that if you raised your children correctly and they know how to value it, I don't think that's a wrong thing either.
These things, I'm thinking there's got to be something
way really now
more than sitting in here, or taking a walk at Nathan Benderson. And so I got to go away. And I thought about, should that go
back? I promise you, most young people in this country who are purchasing houses are doing it because they do have family help. It's very difficult to think about. It's going to be almost neon impossible for these young people to be putting down the amount of deposit based on even the incomes they get. So without family help or assistance, I don't think a lot of these young people will get ahead. And so if a grandparent or somebody has to give it, I say go ahead and do it. You're better doing that and helping your family than like meeting some scam artist. It's amazing how these people won't help their family, but they'll meet a complete stranger on the internet who's like telling them some wild story, and they'll send their money to a complete stranger. Help your family first, people.
Bye-bye. And I talk to AI because AI, AI will tell you whatever you want to hear. But, the rationale thing, bounce off ideas, it's better than asking your best friend. Because you
No, Tim, it's not. And you know why? Because it's probably not giving you an opportunity to critically think. And you're probably saying that because everybody that has come in contact with you and has become a friend of yours, if they say anything that disagrees with what your opinion is, you become a nasty person. And you get mean and you get aggressive. And that has come from several people who have been subscribers and followers of your channel, who used to follow you and became acquainted with you behind the scenes and said that you will flip on a dime and you will get rageful. And we even saw how you bossed JJ about out on the golf course when you wanted to filming him. And JJ wasn't even into golf. And you still dragged that. He was into like going out shooting guns. And you still drag JJ around a golf course and use this man as a cameraman. Just the worst.
Best friend is always going to have a bias or an opinion of safety or whatever. And you can get help from talking to people. But I think that through the AI, the logical, unemotional involvement.
That bike is going to have one ride and then it will be sold. Because Tim's going to wet his willy once he actually realizes that he's too old to handle that contraption.
And I'm like, do I need to buy a little dirt bike too? It's not a dirt bike. It's a dual sport. It's a street bike, dirt bike. It's a 50-50. But the thing about it is, you see a fire road or a dirt road, you go, I wonder what's down there. You're not going to do that on the Goldwing. This is what you do with those.
Oh.
And you can flip them around. You can flick them anywhere you want. They're just, you can ride a Goldwing. So ride.
Well, nurses work really hard. And we could get some really good bonuses too. Then the government likes to eat those things up as well. There were some really good, I tell you, if I wanted to move out to Washington State, there was at one point, but you never know what's going to happen in the healthcare system. But they were offering like relocation assistance, down deposit on a house, sign-on bonus, all on one contract. I mean, just the compensation package during the panini to actually, I don't see any of these offers now, but because everybody was out doing the travel nursing and making money that way, you could get really good deals if you were committed to a healthcare organization. I was seriously considering it because they had such an amazing relocation package. Congratulations. You should be proud. Aw. Nurses are awesome. All right, I'm biased.
One of those. So, I was saying, oh yeah, that's pure joy. That's fun right there. And that's a toy. That's what he put in. That's a toy.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
And you can always get either more.
Your children will be the better return on the investment. Can you imagine investing your money? I'm so glad that Miss Tammy is probably listening to her children and not listening to this guy trying to get her to buy a house. Because then it's a joint potentially, what's he doing? Renting it from her? It's a way for her family to lose their, potentially they could put that money in an investment somewhere. Tammy just got that money sitting there. Tammy living like a queen because she's got kids that are letting her probably stay in the in-law suite. And then she just got that money probably sitting in investments. Tammy got it gold. Why would she, and she could potentially and she's probably not wanting to deal with like BS anymore anyway. She can go out and get herself a little toy boy if she wanted, Tim. She doesn't put up with your old leather skin self.
Put your money back, all your money back, or most of your money back by buying a pre-owned, Honda or Kawasaki dual sport. Because first of all, it's a very competitive market used. They're all around the $5,000 number, and that's probably what they're going to bring for the next couple of years with inflation. So it's really.
I'm so glad that JJ was finally, able to work out that Tim, finally kind of realized that Tim was a jerk. And came over to us the dark side, because he's a very nice man. And I think that was the reason why nice people thinking this is a jerk. Okay. This is
something that's just taking your money out of the bank and putting it into a toy and have some fun with it. And when you're done, you want to put it back in the bank and look at it. You want to look at your statement.
Money out the
Is that what you want
bank.
to do?
Let's put it in a toy. Let's have some fun with it. Tim, the problem is you don't have the money like that. That's the problem. You're a broke ass telling people to buy toys. You probably just took, YouTube can't be bringing you that much money. I mean, a couple of grand a month, but how long is that gravy train going to go on for? There's going to be a time, Tim, that you're going to have to sit there and do some old man content. Unfortunately, you're not reflective enough to do that, to actually give out some pearls of wisdom.
Because some of the comments I get, let's have some more coffee. They are like, why don't you save your money? To stick it in the coffin with me?
Jose and Hilton Tom.
Never once do I act, promote, say, take all the money you got in the bank to the last penny and go blow it. I mean, come on. One thing I got, plenty of money. I don't, but I do. I got enough to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do.
Makes sense of that. I need to clip that part right there. I got plenty of money. No, I don't. Yes, I do. At least want to do what I want to do. Well, keep doing you, Tim. I hope nobody else has to pick up your tab because the American taxpayer did with $58,000 in the IDL. So we picked up that tab for you. You're welcome.
What I want to do, especially when I ain't got much time to do left. And if you're smart, you'll do the same thing. Now, it doesn't have to be go out and buy a gold wing or a dirt bike or in a boat or a jet ski. It could be buying a tractor. You live on a farm, go get you another tractor. Go get you side by side.
I think he did put some of the money into a CD on Fred's advice. But then he turned around and took that money out and he had to pay for the CC rider. Because there's only but so much of this money that's going to be there. We know he made his YouTube money. We can sit there and calculate, but then you have to think of the money on the F-150, on the different trailers and campers. Yes, he did get some trade-ins, but then he had to spend money too. His financial, I'm sure he's put $5,000 or $10,000 into a savings account somewhere. But, that's not going to be the cushion you need, Tim.
Did you see those things at Destination Power Sports? They ain't cheap, but they were not anywhere near the mark that, I thought they could be. And I'll guarantee you they got some negotiating they can do there. So,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see my video, but if you saw it on the big screen.
Have you noticed that he's not done any pay it forwards, though, lately, guys? When was the last time we saw Tim do a pay it forward at a McDonald's? We haven't seen that. He's not. His Jesus work has come to an end.
It came out good. A lot of good comments that you enjoyed the video. And Julian was, I felt bad that I called Bo and he gave me a great deal. I drove to Punta Gorda. I had the money in my pocket. I was prepared to put it on the back of the carrier. I waited for Amazon to deliver my carrier tightener because that thing was all sloppy. And here I go, man. I'm like, oh, come on now. They close at 6. It's 4. Let's get down there. Let's buy it. And I did pray about it. And, I don't want to do anything impulsive or the wrong thing. And that was.
I can promise you, I only have but a limited amount of money. That's why I beg for my dogs. I just want more dogs. Part of my YouTube channel, I have to say, at the back of my mind, one day, if it does well enough, I would like to get a house with a yard so I can get more rescue dogs. I look at rescue dogs all the time, like, oh, I want that dog too. I want that dog too. My two are lying on the floor at the moment right next to each other, patiently waiting for me to finish this live stream so we can go for a walk.
The wrong thing and being a little impulsive. But like I said, that bike is not available used. It just came out. And that's the problem I have with buying some cars sometimes and why I bought that Honda Accord. They didn't have that.
Yes.
They didn't have those used. It just came out. There wasn't.
Oh, absolutely. Because the one thing with YouTube, if you have a monetized channel, is that you have the YouTube studio and every day you can see how much money your channel is making. You can see how much money every video is making, all of it, So, he's just keeping an eye and he's already keeps an eye on his Amazon leaks. He got the maximum grift he could out for his buy me a coffee for his birthday, Christmas. He did okay. He got like $300, but that's nothing compared to the thousands of dollars that he had got when his channel initially hit it out the ballpark and he was traveling and people were just having a good time because a lot of people were on lockdown, seeing him go off in his camper and little Miss Tammy, he was calling her his wife. And little did everyone know this lady was still married to another guy, that he had, had an affair with this lady, obviously had worked with his wife at a bank, and yet he's still. That's the funny thing about Tim, is that he's like one of these people that seems to meet people through his partners, and then he maintains the relationship.
A used market for those. And when I see something I like, I want the latest one because, hey, they changed this. Last year it went for 10 years with this, but now it's got this. Well, I want that. I don't want.
He did the Key West trip. That one day he went on the Gold Wing, went to the primitive campsite and scurried back to Ted and Dolene's. That was the Key West trip. That was the great trip. That was the excitement that we'd all been waiting for. Because he's such a, he's living his life.
The old thing. Even though it's fine, it's not what I want. So I want what I want.
Yeah,
so I went down there, and what I wish I had was longer legs. Ooh, that's really hot.
Oh, gosh. We got to 102 votes on the poll. Let's close this one out. I know I thought about something else ridiculous to put out. I can't remember now. Okay. Will Tim have an AI girlfriend in 2026? I'm going to do the poll. All right. So 59% say no. She can't pay for the cruise. Yeah. There's no point having an AI girlfriend if she can. I don't think he even wants an AI friend. How can he steal golf clubs from them? Absolutely and crushing it. Say 29%. He's going to get AI psychosis if you don't watch it. Does she have a monetized channel? Yeah. She better come with some money to that table because Timmy. He's not going to be paying.
But be warned, if you want to buy a dual sport and you're interested and you got any skill level at all, definitely look at that Suzuki DRZ. Definitely look at that. Forget those bigger motors, those 500s and 650s and stuff like that. A lot of guys that are expert riders are actually buying those 300Ls like the Honda and just doing the suspension work on them and stuff. And
I
just enjoying
that. Yeah, I know. I have this like lofty goal that I'll just get stuff for dogs, more dogs. And everyone's like, no, not more dogs. Hey, what can I say?
Guys that are older that used to ride, race bikes and stuff. They're like, I don't want to, get into. And these guys are buying these adventure bikes. These ones that can take you from here to Alaska, across the rugged or the pavement. They got a big motor. They can go 80 miles an hour all day. And they got a lot of room. It can hold a lot of weight with like bags everywhere. You look like you're a tour master. They're getting rid of them too because they're finding out they never went off the pavement with all that crap on there. And if they go to anywhere that's technical, it's not just a flat dirt road. They're not going to go down there with all that. These geezers, not unless you're an expert rider. So you lose the weight. You lose all that. I'm going to drive from here to Alaska. You put it on a trailer in the back of your truck. You take it somewhere. You pull it off when the rain quits and the sun's out, and you enjoy yourself. That's what I want to do. And hell, if I had a way to tow the Gold Wing, because I know I'll ride the Gold Wing. I'll ride it. I thought about that, but now with my new bag and stuff, I'm just not going to break my neck getting there. That's all. No, it'll be fun.
Yeah, of course, Tim. Can't wait. Keep talking, because that's all you do, mate. You talk inside this trailer. Keep talking. Hey, finish it up, Tim. I got you a 1.5. It still take forever because my dogs really want to go out.
But otherwise, yeah, trailer that baby. And this little thing I got, man, that bracket I put on from Rhino that you wedge on there, it's a U-bolt and a steel plate on the bottom. It took all the wobble out. Now I know it's still going to be flexing a little bit, but without that. And I'm so glad too that every pound less matters. That's why I only want that little Honda or the Kawasaki.
That was Roscoe.
KLX 300. I don't want no 250, and I don't want no 400. I want the 300, Cowie or Honda, and I want that weight division. I want that putt division, which is not a putt really, but it's not in that high school level. All right, what else?
Yeah.
So I told you that the people are lame that are selling, the ones that buying.
They're all lame selling and buying because Tim's not getting the deals. This is where he's getting his energy from. Tim's just, he's got nothing else in his life. Doesn't do charitable work. He's not really got a hobby. Doesn't have a home he cares for. He's got this lousy YouTube channel that he grifts out of, and he buys a bunch of crap.
the market today. The people are scammers, waste your time, tire kickers. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They want to get a walk.
Strange about that.
It's a nice
What did I
day.
use? We'll use that coffee there? Okay.
It's like spring in January today here in Virginia Beach. So after we finish, I'm going to give him some dinner and then we're going to go down to the boardwalk and walk the boardwalk.
I know what it is. That is the holiday blend. And I had in the pot some McCaffey, baby. I was drinking at McDonald's. Tell you what, that McDonald's hard to beat.
Oh, God.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like McDonald's, baby. Oh, it's got a heavy whipping cream. I'm good.
Now, Tim might be out on that dirt bike enjoying the spring of January because it is a beautiful day on the East Coast. Glad it's beautiful in Ohio. It's beautiful today. It's really beautiful.
So I'm 196 pounds this morning, and every day of my life between thinking about motorcycles and
we didn't see that on a scale, Tim, so that's a lie.
Getting out of here and doing stuff. I think about my gut and my weight. And I think about what I got to do and not do. I got to go to the gym. I got to walk. I got to not eat. I got to eat the right things. And so much is going on in here. So much. In fact, I need to open this.
Tim, why are you struggling this at 67? I mean, we all have to make choices, Tim. I promise you. I promise. I know it's there. But it's interesting to see somebody who's 67 still trying to figure this all out. He's like, he still hasn't found himself. I think that's my big, Tim, who are you? Who are you at the end of the day? Because you're not a Christian. I'll tell you that much.
Quite warm on me.
It's 7
Let me do that.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it feels great out there.
Oh, my God.
Let me put you on
That's
you're already on a selfie stick.
Sick weather right there.
Let's go take a look at what's happening in our world.
Dark. Look, Tim's filming this early because look, it's still kind of dark and foggy out there. So Tim was up early that morning filming this. I think he is living in the RV, guys. I don't think this is no longer the studio. We know because we used to see him driving up and down or he would do videos that were from locations that were a clear route from the Lakewood Ranch apartment to the trailer in Bradenton. And now we don't see that. So I think Tim is now a resident of the slab, in my opinion.
Edit this down, right? It's just like, Baker, your videos are too damn long. Look at all this crap I got in here. Boxes. It was all right here in my doorway.
Yeah, Tim, they are too long.
Let's grab our coffee. And let's open the door. Lock it. Okay. Go out.
Oh, my God. That's a heat wave.
I'm wearing my Go to Hell.
Yeah, that is a heat wave in Wisconsin in January. Why are you not outside enjoying that? That is an absolute heat wave. One of my favorite places to visit, and I haven't been for years because I have dogs. We know. That's why they say they ruin your life, but I love dogs, so they don't ruin your life, in my opinion. But you have to be a dog person, I guess. Chicago. Love Chicago. Been there about 4 or 5 times. Love it. One of my favorite cities. And I went into Wisconsin.
Shoes. I put them in the washing machine yesterday. Whose idea was it? I'm taking those socks off. I like no-shows. Oh, my God. What a goober. How old am I? God.
Yeah, we never heard about that finger buffet that he was supposed to be going to for New Year's. He never went to his New Year's party. And he always said that all his neighbors were inviting him to all this stuff. And I pointed out the fact that he called his neighbors drunken shopaholics in his videos. And why would his neighbors even want anything to do with him? All he did was get a general email from the RV park saying that there was a finger buffet New Year's Eve shindig or whatever, and they could have it going as long as they didn't set off fireworks. And Tim took that like he was getting invited by the King of England to go to like a tea party or something. And probably one of his neighbors said to him, "Hey, Tim, you going to the New Year's?" And then he probably changed that up. Like he's getting a personal freaking invite. His neighbors can't wait for him to go. And then he sat inside his RV on New Year's Eve, which says to me that he burnt the neighbors' bridges. Because they're probably like, "Oh, here he comes. He needs some pliers to get that screw out." That's why we didn't see him take the screw out the tire, because probably running around like a little headless chicken about having a tire, screwing his brand new tire and 450 and this, that, and the other. And somebody probably took pity on him And some other guy probably came along and took that screw out, which is why we didn't see a video. Because if this Woody Woodpecker here had been doing it, he would have filmed it and put it out for content because he cares to make money from everything. So but he couldn't come out with the lie about him doing it, So it's probably his neighbor because we know he can't even handle a hammer. He's so worthless.
These guys, I call them Bobby socks. They walk around, they got these socks that are like white or whatever. They're showing them or they're up to here. These should either be lows or no shows. I'll put these on. I'll be 70 in 3 years. Up since 3 in the morning. I'm telling you, an hour ago, I took a shower and it woke me up a little bit, but I wanted to just get right back in the bed. My body is not going to be worth shooting today. Oh, by the way, the queue is running good. I've got my propane.
If your body's not worth shooting for the day, Tim, and you don't sleep properly, how the heck are you going to survive on a dirt bike? It's just absolute the most asinine decision, and a reason why no woman would want to put up with this nonsense.
Thanks. That's my job this morning. Look,
nobody wants to visit you in the hospital, Tim.
We got to go get our propane filled in our RV. Look, I took it off. It's not empty, and that one's full. So I do not need any. But since that one over there for grilling, and I haven't been doing that lately, I'm going to start. And I'm going to start. I'm tired of cooking inside and cleaning that greasy stove. I'm going to start using my darn Suburban again, the griddle, short order cooking.
Like he got this big ass active social life. Tim, most of us at this age, we don't have that active of a social life anymore. It's exhausting. People can be exhausting. Like I do terrible at parties nowadays. I never know what to talk about. I'm terrible for small talk.
You guys like it anyway, right? Put the burgers, the bacon, the eggs on there. What it's really good with is pancakes, flapjacks.
Right.
But I don't eat those. Those are the days, baby.
That's what's this is why these influencers, whether you're Tim's age or you're 20, or just or Foodie's age and 40, are out of control. Getting upset with your audience who are taking the time to watch your content and then complain if they're not hitting your links or hitting your Amazon or hitting your this, that, or the other. If people like your content, Tim, they will be a wonderfully generous audience with their time and their likes and their comments and their subs and everything else, and it will grow your channel, as you know. But the problem is, Tim, you didn't know that. You did have a pretty decent amount of people watching some of your content, surprisingly, but I don't know if that's people who went back and watched stuff. But you had your little your Toyota 4Runner little niche, but I think that was bought with our money too. For that, you were just showing your pew-pews and not wearing a shirt.
So we got the fog this morning. Oh, we got my neighbors here. They're getting ready to go somewhere. What's today? Is today Wednesday? Oh, yeah, they're doing their little sale.
I hear you.
They're doing their show.
Almost done.
Hey, look, there she is. 2 holes there. I see.
Yeah, I get told off for being too interested in Tim's business. But people don't understand that he's just an example of many other people who are wandering around like this, who are potentially going to wreck your finances. And that could be either because they're going to try to date some lady and destroy her finances, or they're going to come out on a platform like YouTube and try to give this like folksy, good old boy, whatever, and give you the worst possible financial advice with no understanding because they can't even control their own situation. This is just somebody who planned for nothing, who just happened to make, and it wasn't, it just amazes me that he has the goal and the audacity to show off his toys and his items that came from getting EIDL money, which allowed him to purchase items, which allowed him to become like what he thought was a big cheese on YouTube. He regurgitated somebody else's information in a video, and YouTube just picked it up in the algorithm. And this is what we got as a result. He's somebody who's low level and should never have been rewarded. But unfortunately, the internet does it all day.
1 hole there.
Sad.
We need to
stop this, Google.
God, that's good coffee. Now I got my taste buds going. See, this thing right here, the way it works.
Yeah.
You ride the tire up over it. Did you know something I found out this morning? Watching the Black Widow the Black Widow video. This is not just to hold it in here. When you roll the bike tire
Yeah, his reviews are pretty inaccurate too.
over this and it goes in,
Oh God.
the tire is supposed to fit where such that the tire doesn't even touch this. The bottom of the tire is supposed to be up a little bit to where it holds.
I just need to figure out how this guy who could barely like lift up a cardboard box to do something is going to be up and downing a 300-pound bike up and down this thing. I mean, seriously, Tim, what the hernia are you trying to do to yourself?
Holds the bike like a seatbelt. Now, some of these you can buy. The last one I had, the Moto Tote, it actually didn't even have this. It was just a ramp.
Exactly.
But this one's got it. And, you know, I just happened to be watching some YouTube videos this morning. I wanted to make sure.
Well,
I wanted to see some other people.
That sort of like, you know, look at all my stuff I have so that everybody's impressed with when they see me, you know, but in reality, he's got nothing in the background, you know. I know I don't drive a fancy car or anything impressive. People have told me I don't have a nurse car, you know, but that's okay because it works within all of my expenses. If I had a nurse car, I wouldn't be able as a single person to afford everything, you know, without having, I'm past the age, like your Tar Heels, your daughter, 29. I can't pull all those long hospital shifts and make the money like that anymore. Those days for me are gone. It's too tiring, but I can do what I can do.
Loading some heavy bikes and see about the 600
Can't do that anymore.
I'm golden. But so you can see they must have had it in here. Look.
Oh, yeah.
See that? So I'm going to have to put the bike up on here. Somebody had this up there. You see that? They've adjusted it. So 4 bolts holds this piece. And then these two.
How is he? I mean, why aren't you even talking? Even though he's not like talking about going out and dirt biking with his grandson or anything like that. No, this is Tim alone taking his 67-year-old self out to supposedly dirt bike, which is never going to happen. This is just an impulse control here issue, an absolute disorder. Nobody within their right mind is doing this at 67 years old with their money. Unless you're an absolute complete fool. Just be honest, Tim. The worst advice. Sick of it. Oh, you Tim, live it, Tim. Go break your bones. You're going to be a burden to nursing. That's why I just can't stand this. You're going to be a burden to the healthcare system on that bike, Tim. That's what you are.
And then, of course, you want it to where, I suppose, the front tire, where this is more, you know, weight distributed like this, even. Another thing that I noticed, the reason I started looking at them, is this ramp right here.
Well, no, he had a dirt back in 2022 that he rode and looked absolutely like he was petrified on and then sold that thing. He's got a compulsive buying shopping disorder. He is just, this is his way. You have to go back to the beginning of the video. See the link to the article in the description box because it goes over just all of it and it explains him in such perfect detail.
But down with these wing nuts. Underneath here.
Probably massive depression.
See it? This thing right here? Well, the other ones have 2. And it connects.
Well,
now,
I've always wondered that because he was told to get a colonoscopy some time ago because he doesn't defecate properly and he has not had anything like that. If he suddenly starts to lose massive amounts of weight, we'll know.
Here, this one just has the 1 hole. And I thought, well, how come I don't have 2?
Yeah.
This here, so he goes right in that hole. This is my ramp, the inside piece. The bike sits on there.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's exactly what we talked about today. He uses retail therapy for his depression. And I talked about the fact that this is an impulse control issue as well. Like but you also have no ability to control that impulse to do it. Whether there are negative consequences to it, he has no ability to control the impulse. He sits there, he watches YouTube videos about golfing or the motorbikes. Now, he just stole somebody's golf clubs because he could. That's the worst part. But the other things, he actually has to purchase these items. And then he's like complaining because people aren't sending him enough money. And then he spends $2,000 on motorbike gear for a motorbike he now doesn't want to ride, which is the Goldwing, because that gear isn't going to work on a dirt bike. It's an absolute, he is on a spiral at the moment, guys. For all him trying to say he's having the best. Look at this. Look at this. Look how tired he looks. Look at this eye. How exhausted. You're trying to tell me, Tim, with that turkey gobble wobble right down here and everything, that you are a fit and strong and healthy enough to take out that dirt bike? That guy was laughing all the way to the bank when he sold that thing to you that day.
Look at my buddy on AI. He said,
Brandon. Probably thought it was for a grandkid.
Because if you feel better, drill you another hole and do something like that. He goes, but I wouldn't waste my time. I'm like, okay. Oh, what a morning, huh? Coffee, fog, cool temperatures, morning dew. I mean, dripping wet. But
I'm not giving him any ideas to make money on his channel. Well, give that idea to somebody else. Tim would do it for 2 videos, though, passive. And if he didn't hit it out the ballpark like he did with that Social Security, he'll give it up. Like the Crushing It for Christ has already come to an end. He put it out for 3 days. He did his daily devotionals. That's already gone to the win. His carnivore diet. I'm sure he's not sticking to that. You know, look at this. Look at this guy. Look at him. He's got every aspect of aging, all the loss of collagen in the face. Look, that beard isn't going to hide this, Tim.
I can't even sit down in my chair here because they're wet. I can't run my truck, which got bugs all over the front there from riding down 75 South
his
to
whole
Fort
life.
Myers the other day.
That's why his wives didn't stay with him, because he probably spent money on BS and didn't pay the rent and take care of his kids. So you don't go through 3 marriages as quick as he did in succession. And he probably got these women pregnant. He probably didn't pick particular. I don't think the women that were with him in his life were superior. They were probably as educated and as accomplished as he was. I'm sorry to say it. And I don't mean to sound like I'm being an absolute snob, because I don't want to ever try to, denigrate or, make people feel less than. But I just, Tim is just a low-level loser. We should have no sympathy for these guys. Do not put yourself on your daughter, Tim. She deserves better.
For the motorcycle carrier, and yesterday to Punta Gorda to buy a motorcycle. Because until I take that thing off the back of the hitch, that thing is very heavy. You got to take the ramp.
Problem is, he's a narcissist too, so he'll never get therapy. And narcissists are absolutely impossible to deal with. So he's got multiple comorbidities along with his addiction issues. And the coffee it's just, and then the Ambien use and the duals, the non-alcoholic, which still has alcoholic beer, with the Ambien chaser.
That part off first to lighten it, and then
a terrible hot mess.
Yeah, be real careful, you hurt your back.
Yeah, he does.
Let me turn this light out.
He said he was a drinker in the past. Some of the worst patients I've ever had to help in hospice die were alcoholics, man. That is a scary passing.
Set this down here. Let's turn our V light out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. I got to load these up in the back of the...
Oh, yeah. Having that alcohol nose? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Alcohol is going to mess up your body. Oh, yeah, they get that red and it's swollen, all the broken blood vessels and stuff. That was, if you see like W.C. Fields and you obviously look at his nose and stuff, he has the classic characteristics of that because he really was a rampant alcoholic. So, yes, it does seem to impact. I guess it's because you have to think that the nose is very innervated, a lot of blood flow. If your liver is compromised, you're going to have compromised blood and platelets, and it is going to lead to all sorts of other dysfunctions. I mean, sclerosis of the liver is, sclerosis of the liver is no joke, guys. I promise you. People die because of, alcoholism, and it's literally is a diagnosis that they are dying from alcohol related illnesses or disorders. And, absolutely.
Go to Ace. Ace is the place. You get the
gin blossoms. Yep.
Get all topped off. See, I have 2 of them. This one's low, but one of these isn't spitting out the propane real good or something. I don't know. This one's full and this one's not empty, and neither is my one for the camper, and I've got another one that's full, so I really don't even need to
the awning still broken.
Want to spend money, I guess.
Is his awning still broken? Because he couldn't figure out how to fix it, and he can't drop it off at the RV place to have them fix it because he needs to be in the RV, and Tim's too cheap to think, Maybe I shouldn't buy a $7,000 dirt bike. Maybe I should just get a hotel for a couple of days or for whatever time, maybe an extended stay, and just stay there and let the RV get repaired in the place or let it do what it needs to do. Because Tim is just, he doesn't think like that. He's not practical. For all the common sense that he wants to say he has zero common sense. And he can actually make really probably very interesting, way more interesting content about the actual trials and tribulations of dealing with this stuff. But no, he is a narcissistic sort of individual who's always going to show that he's got the best of everything because he's got the best of nothing.
I topped him off one time in the last year. And that was when I was coming home from Georgia. When I was up there for a couple of months in Tennessee, I stayed at Love's that last night before returning here.
Yes.
And they had a propane.
End-stage liver disease is awful to die from. Especially if it's from cirrhosis of the liver through alcoholism. Absolutely. I mean, any liver, it's bad. You get a lot of fluid backup. It's bad. It's really bad. And these people also get alcohol dementias as well. It's not your friend always. Enjoy a drink, but don't overdo it.
Thing right there in the front. The price was about the same as I pay here.
No, it's not that easy.
So I pulled up and topped them off.
Oh, cirrhosis.
And that's when I discovered that both of my front tanks were almost empty.
I misspoke. I was trying to say cirrhosis and came out with sclerosis. That's why I corrected myself. But no, there's only one.
And I don't have one open. I guess it somehow sucks the other one out whenever.
That was my misspeaking.
The first one runs low. Open this door. Let's get some more air in here. So warmed up from that coffee. Hey, you make your bed? No? You make your bed? Is your bed still a mess? Get in there and make it. Get in there. This toothpaste away. I don't like anything out. Look at this mess here. I gotta get this. You throw this box outside. All this Amazon stuff.
I promise you, if he's struggling with it, we're not going to see the video. And he's got all this Amazon stuff. I mean, he is just like becoming a little pack rat around that slab. I don't think he can move off that slab that easily. I mean, this shed, we haven't seen inside there. We know Vegas's golf clubs are in there. Just all the stuff, And we know a bunch of stuff got returned, like that hat he was wearing with Miss Tammy at Memorial Day. The Christmas sweater probably went back. Just terrible. She's just obsessed.
Great.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just throw it out there like that, Tim. That tells me all about what I need to know with your attitude.
Paper fell out. All right, well, that's all I got. I'll probably edit the first part of the video down. It's kind of boring sitting there talking about the dang Suzuki and stuff.
No, Tim, and he's just like chatted for 41 minutes on your poor subscribers while you look like absolute just like hell in a handbasket.
You go back to bed. I'm delirious. Well, good luck, and the search goes on. Do I buy a boat? Do I buy a jet ski? Do I buy nothing?
Why is he buying a boat or a jet ski? That awning is no big deal. RV repair guy. Right, but he is too cheap. He can't fix it, and he's not going to pay somebody to fix it. But he'll spend $7,000 on a dirt bike. But then he'll complain to his subs they need to send him buy me a coffees or hit the likes, comments, subscribes, or, use his Amazon link or, things, they should send him gas money to support his travels. Why? Nobody should do any of it, Tim. Nobody should do any of it. I think the American taxpayer has given you more than enough money at this time, sir. I think demanding more, is terrible. And the fact that you're still getting any views, that's because some kid clicked on, he just saw dual sport, or probably somebody looking at you, probably laughing, seeing some old dude like, no, you're going to kill yourself. Like I said, my ex-boyfriend had a friend, his old roommate had a terrible motorcycle. It totally ruined his leg. I mean, his leg is gone now, janked up horribly from this motorcycle. Had no health insurance. So not only did he ruin his leg, he got about over $100,000 of debt at a hospital, Tim. And he was in traction in a hospital for weeks. What are you going to do? Make videos from the hospital bed? I don't know how much the nurses are going to put up with that. I saw someone who was dying of liver disease due to hepatitis. Really distended. They would drain it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You have to do pleural. You've got to get the Pleurix catheters in there and actually drain the fluid. So there's they'll have there's a way that they'll have a device fit so that you can put these Pleurix catheters attached and you can actually then drain the fluid out of people. You got to tap them. You got to tap these people because they'll go in and get it, but you have to tap them. So you got to put the little thing in and drain it out and stuff. It's been a while, but I used to have to put those catheters. I'm trying to remember doing it now. I want to say they have to get a little line put in and you have to attach and do the Pleurix on that. And you have to keep that little area clean and it will leak all the time, man. It's a nightmare. You read comments that said the boat. I can't believe a boat. Yes. Well, it gets some views. Yes, it does. And unfortunately it's always going to work. It works both ways. But, what we just hope is that people be, knowing that to beware of Tim on YouTube, that he has become personal friends with people that were his followers who were misled by him, and he has taken advantage of them. So he uses his platform to take advantage of people. And he has no problem with it because he thinks that his subpar life is worth people sending him stuff for, because he does such great content. All right, guys. I've had you captured here. My dogs really want to go out for over 3 hours. My God. I wasn't expecting this live to go so long. But, we've had such a great viewing audience. I know people are popping in and out. And that's what we live streamers do. We're just chit-chatting. I know everybody else went off on me today. All these other reaction channels too. Because, how dare I ban Stewie from my comment section? I can do whatever I want. It's my channel, my platform. Just like Tim would say. But this is a community platform. And I have to make sure that we all stay safe and happy and have fun. Because that's the most important thing. Have a laugh. Because we don't know how this story's going to end. And we haven't seen Tim. I don't think let's just do a quick last check of his video. See if he's managed to put anything out for us today. Do you have any videos, Tim? Are you sitting inside? No. Last video has been the cold that I've seen is the cold steel, showing off something else he bought. That's the last we've seen of Tim. So I think he's inside the RV and studying up about the dual sport. Or he's probably kicking himself because he can't get that thing up and down off of that carrier easy. I mean, just look at this. Look at all this stuff. Welcome to what Sarasota Tim did with the American taxpayer dime right here. Here's about $58,000 plus worth of crap. All right, guys. Make sure you hit the likes before you leave me today. That's a great way to support this channel. Trying to figure out, probably going to go live all weekend because, my goal for my channel is to grow more in 2026. If you haven't caught my members only, you'll see that I was talking about another guy. So with the members, you'll see that we react to some other interesting characters because I think that we shouldn't be the retirement plan for a bunch of these guys who didn't get it together. And there's a lot of them on YouTube, man. Gosh, messy. But it's an entertainment and it's drama for the rest of us. All right, guys. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for all the wonderful support that was given to me. Thomas and my good friend Sammy, as you know, one of our mods, and DJ Shelly Shell. I really do. And just like I said, you guys liking, comments, subscribing, just being part of this community helps me out. In the month, we know I do membership giveaways. So always look out for that. Probably going to be whenever it comes out. It was a great live stream. I hope so. I hope I was funny today. I hope I gave you guys some laugh. and some food for thought too. And that we just have a good time talking about these topics, because none of the young kids are going to talk about us, our old people stuff, like retirement and what to do. So we got to do it. All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate it. Bye.